Like, we did it twice that season.
We did. Okay, Michael, you can stop reading titles. We're live. Please. For my sake. I think I've used this week's title at least twice before. But we won't worry about it. Because if I did, one day I'll go back and edit it, surely. Bam. How are you guys?
I'm doing all right.
I'm alright.
Doing fine.
We're vibing.
Guys, I like to announce I am almost 3 months clean from League of Legends.
Let's
My life has gotten
go!
infinitely better.
You can always
Yeah.
relapse.
I was gonna say I'm worried about when that might change. I'm worried about what might do it to you. Does that count TFT?
For me, it does not count TFT.
So I got plagued with some mysterious illness that made me physically impossible to do anything at all for the entire day of Friday. That was fun. Running guesses food poisoning. From what I couldn't tell you, I ate Domino's, of which I am the only person in the family who ate that Domino's and it would have gotten food poisoning, which would be crazy. And I had a peanut butter sandwich that I made that night, which would also be wild. So
Peanut butter could have gone bad.
God, I hope not. That's a big-ass jar of peanut butter we've got in there. And look, I'm not going to be the one to find out again. I'll leave that to somebody
you could
else.
probably check the date on.
There's no way we buy it. We definitely bought it recently. That'd be crazy.
Oh.
But yeah, I was...
The thing is, I know my family has a jar of peanut butter that quite literally expired like 3 years ago.
That's crazy. Why do you let them still have it?
No, it's still there.
We use it for rat poison.
Oh, actually, that actually
fair.
makes
Or mouse
sense.
poison.
That's a good...
That-
We
That makes
that's
a
what we
lot
mix
of
with the
sense.
mouse poison.
That's a good answer, actually. Congrats. Good answer. I guess real quick. I mean, we have a little bit of time. I'm trying to think of things that I've been doing besides dying for a day. Mason knows this. I went out with some friends on Monday. So literally day after podcast. And we went to a bar. I don't drink, but we went to a bar. I had some good mac and cheese. And then that bar was also an arcade. That arcade had a Crazy Taxi cabinet.
Oh, I love Crazy Taxi.
It also, yeah, well, before that, it also had an X-Men arcade cabinet, you know, the 6-player one.
Huge.
Jesus Christ.
To which I spent all my time playing Galaga. Cause
We didn't play Gunsmoke the whole
they
time.
didn't have a Gunsmoke cabinet. I would have played gun. I can't tell you, Michael, how much I wanted to sit down with 3 of my friends who have never seen me touch an arcade machine. Hope to God they had a Gunsmoke cabinet and have them watch me pop the fuck off and go, "Why are you so good at this?" To which they did do about Galaga, and I went, "You don't know that we had a Galaga cabinet on our campus, do you?" And they went, "No," and I went, "Yeah." They went, "Did you get the high score here?" I went, "Yeah." I'm like, they have to clear these high scores semi-frequently. I'm like, there's absolutely no way that I have the high score. That or no one fucking plays Galaga in this entire town. Because should not have had that, I'll tell you that much. But I do be okay at Galaga. Outside of that, manga stuff, I think that's really it. I have not really watched things. I've watched other people watch things, but that's not particularly interesting. I guess I will say I am watching the new things I am watching people watch through outside of, like, I think I mentioned Freerun, that I'm going back through that, as well as Violet Evergarden. I'm also watching people watch through One Piece, which is a good way for me to re-experience the show that I have, at this point, I've seen everything too. Because I've seen up through Skypiea on, like, in my memory, I have recalled all the way up to Skypiea. They are at Drum Island. They just finished Drum Island, so they're getting there. They'll get there.
They're catching up.
They're full. If I catch up to where their channel publishes, they're in Thriller Bark. They are farther than that on their Patreon, but I'm not I'll be fine. I'm not dying to watch One Piece that much. I'm also watching them watch JJK, which is an interesting thing to do. Because I talked with Michael about this briefly. They are in Shibuya now. I did not remember the Mekamaru fight before Shibuya.
Yep.
I remembered all of the plot stuff before that fight, and I remembered the details about him. I, for some odd reason, thought he had a much more somber, just, whoops, you did a bad thing, sucks to be you send-off. No, you had a full-ass fight scene, didn't remember that. So that was a surprise to me, watching people watch that and go, there's a full-ass mech fight here, what? Which, in context to all of JJK, there's a full-ass mech fight there, what? That's weird, why did you do that?
Kaiju battle.
What are you doing over there? Also a strong reminder to me that he teases how important fucking Simple Domain is in that fight. Fuck you for not talking about it for 100 more chapters. Perhaps it wouldn't feel like so much of an ass-pull if you mentioned it even once before then.
It's so crazy how that just does not get brought up again as an important thing until
But-
fucking culling game.
But maybe again this is just me going to show. Maybe I do just at some point need to just blanket reread all of Jujutsu Kaisen to get a really actual good feeling opinion about it. Because I think reading that manga week to week fucking hurt it in my objective view of it. Cause holy fuck.
Yeah, especially with
What
how
do you
I could not
mean? It
imagine
was such
like
a good read when we're watching what's his name fight in the fucking pachinko realm, and you're just like,
Yeah.
what? The
No,
fuck
but that
has been going on for the
actually
last
is
4
good. That actually
chapters?
is the only good thing.
but that's awesome.
That's great.
But like,
The problem is, I
Kari's
forget what
face.
happens.
Yeah. Yeah, like I could not imagine reading Blue Lock and having started the game that just finished. Having been reading this week by week for the entire year.
That'd be
Yes,
crazy.
the single game
Yeah.
took 50 chapters.
I love sports manga, dude. It's great. Speaking of that, I'm reading 2 sports manga that I wasn't reading before.
Is one of them Embers?
Well, yes, but I wasn't counting that because I've been reading that for a bit now. I picked back up on Awashi. I am now where I stopped with the anime, not where the anime stops, because I did not finish out that season of Awashi. I should. I
That
really like
season was really
I
solid.
really like Awashi. Awashi fucking rules.
Good trailer.
I also started reading Major.
Awashi is like literally the exact like
Ah.
inverse of Blue Box.
Yeah.
Major was good. I watched all of Major actually. Fun fact.
I might
thought it was
go
fine.
I might go do that if. Do you know, does the show adapt all of the manga?
I don't know where the manga ends, but it goes
Okay.
all the way through basically like to him reaching the peak basically.
Because I know there's Major Second, which is
There's
ongoing.
4
still.
seasons of Major.
Yeah.
And it goes. Major Second is like the sequel with like his kid,
Yes,
right?
I believe so. That's my
I
understanding.
think there's a couple seasons of that.
Because I
but,
thought
like,
about jumping in the Major
if you
Second. I'm like,
just
maybe I
care-
should just read Major.
I mean, I think Major itself is a fine story. It's very like stays in its own realm. It follows him from like high school to the major leagues, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's a fine. It's good for what it is. I enjoyed it. I like baseball, so I'm biased.
Yeah, I just know the
like you
site
said-
I'm reading on
Listen, I watched-
is not done
I
translating
sat down and
Major
binged Ace
has
of
it.
Diamond in like a week and a half, and that's like 2 seasons with like 75 episodes each.
Yeah, I just want good sports manga kick. And Ember, I need to read
Bro,
the new chapter of Ember.
I want
Ember's
Ace of
fun.
Diamonds to be like animated again. I used to be like my like in my like second year of college. That was my like every week I would just go back and watch like an episode of Ace of Diamond.
Is it
and
done
watch them
yet?
do baseball stuff.
It's
I don't
probably it's
know.
probably not, right?
Anime wise, they're like in the middle of like his like sophomore year or like second year in high school, and like they like just hit like nationals, and then like it like stops, and I'm
Hold on.
like in the middle of a game, and I'm like,
I'm about to tell you.
ah,
No, it did end. It ended. Oh, hold on. It also has a sequel. The sequel also ended.
the
But-
manga.
Yes.
Okay.
There's an Ace of
Yeah, no, I
Diamond.
need to read it.
There's an Ace of Diamond Act 2, which typically tends to be how these sports manga go.
It's hard to tell because that's also the name of the anime because it's like Ace of
Sure.
Diamond, Ace of Diamond Act 2, Ace of Diamond second season,
Yeah.
and it's like, what?
Well, this typically like Prince of Tennis is just Prince of Tennis technically Prince of Tennis 2, but we just call it New Prince of Tennis.
Listen, bro, spring training started. My brain's in baseball mode. I can't help it.
I'm trying to think. I've not quite literally
my
the
God.
chapters I have not read this week for manga are all the new shit. So like I have not read Star of Beethoven. I have not read Embers yet. I have not read Sidcraft. I have not read Drama Queen. Everything else I read is fucking cooking though. Fucking cooking. We're
Blue
at
Box Peak.
Blue Box Peak.
We talked about
Yeah,
that.
once again, water is
Himuten good.
Himuten good. Kagurabachi.
Oh shit, I haven't read.
Oh,
it.
dude,
Hey,
the
that pulls-
last panel on Kagurabachi this week.
That pulls
Oh,
shit.
Okay.
Kagurabachi
On
crazy
AniList, there
this
is a
week.
sequel announced for Ace of Diamond Act 2, Zoku Hen, which is a sequel to Ace of Diamond Act 2.
Oh, there you go.
That is not
the something
not
arc.
not announced about any dates. It just exists, is all we
Like,
know.
it's like they know they're cooking.
9 months ago they announced it. It looks like
Uh,
because that's when that latest comment was.
Ichi the Witch introducing a new character. We love him probably. Maybe we'll see.
I love him already.
Centuria very good still. God, that manga just goes. Shinobi Undercover is it's going. I actually really like one of the newer cast editions we have from Shinobi Undercover. They also are very good in this chapter. I love their bits.
I was so concerned with them when they first showed up, and now they are one of my favorite characters.
Ultimate
That manga is
Exorcist.
good.
Ultimate Exorcist has a very base chapter where it goes, remember those characters who weren't doing anything? Well, now they're doing things. We get the sidekick character power up chapter in Ultimate Exorcist. It's very good. This manga rules. I would not be surprised if it ends like around chapter 50 because like I feel like you just do this arc and it's done. But I feel like this arc could go a while. Elusive Samurai is still in an intermission. It's been in an intermission for 5 weeks. All that means is that they're telling you all the things that have happened over the span of like 5 years. We're literally about to walk out of this intermission, I have to imagine, because we have a very important fight going on. That no, the anime gets nowhere fucking close to it. God, I can't believe it feels insane to me as someone who caught up to Elusive Samurai how long I've been waiting for this fight to happen, and the anime is probably maybe a whole nother season away from even getting to the thing that sets it up to even ever happen to begin with in the story. It's crazy.
So
I also loosely got spoiled on this. I'm trying to think if it was before we finished the anime, or if it was when I was reading it. Because this is one of those things where if you look up the wrong character, you find out something about them. And in fact, it isn't even that. I looked up something and found out the components of something and went, that's not, and I learned something. It'd be like that.
Me looking up a random word that happens to be part of the name of a My Hero character and just saying the word death next to it, and I'm like, come on.
yo,
Spoiler alert much? Come on.
I'm like, bro, I'm looking up a random word in English that just happens to become one of the hero names.
I wonder. Kill Blue, I joked with Michael.
The joke is that there's like 15 fucking words that could work for.
Yeah. Kill Blue is perhaps also entering a Riz the Dad arc. We don't know yet. We'll see.
Riz Dad, yes.
Riz the Dad
Perhaps
arc.
Hope You're Happy Living will also be entering that same kind of arc. Who knows? We have yet to meet any fathers. They are absent as of now. Crazy.
Damn.
Damn.
Hope you're happy. Limit fatherless behavior confirmed.
Other than that, only other thing I even loosely want to talk about is that Makes the Exorcist Fall in Love's fucking crazy right now, but that's a whole nother thing. Last thing is the Martial King seems like it's gonna be really good. I'm liking what we've gotten so far out of it.
Same. It took a few chapters of kind of getting like more of this world, but this latest chapter is rad as hell.
Do you have the problem, Mason, where you see this main character's design and you go, he does kind of look like Ace, though?
Yeah,
Especially,
much so.
especially since he's done art of Ace.
yeah. And like, it's very specifically like the bits where he's grinning,
Yeah.
and you're just like, okay, buddy.
I mean, hey, cool ass character design. Run with it. Oh, One Piece goes crazy this week. Sorry, I
Yeah.
forgot. Michael
One
needs
Piece went nuts.
Michael needs to catch up. I
This-
told
Go
this-
behind.
I told Michael that this chapter. Michael went, yeah, I know they introduced two new characters a little bit ago, and I went, yeah, Michael, they introduced 2 more this chapter.
One of them is fucking hilarious. I love him.
And technically a third one if you want. But he was introduced last week, and technically we've known about him. But fuck you if you tell me you remembered him this long. I mentioned it.
remembered him.
I mentioned it.
But-
I loosely mentioned his affiliation to Michael, and Michael went, "Do we know another one of those?" And I went, "Yep."
I remembered this character. No fucking way I was guessing who that was.
I knew the name because I've heard the name because it comes up every once in a while. I feel like every One Piece quiz we do, the name gets thrown out there, and I never know why you guys know that name. It just gets thrown to me, and now I know.
Yeah.
Now we all know. But I think that's it for me.
Got a lot of stuff. Right. I guess I'll go. So Sunday, I went and saw Captain America because we didn't do a thing for
No.
what we did last week. I saw the new Captain America. That movie's really good. I really like it. It's interesting because it acknowledges that the Edward Norton Hulk movie exists, which was neat.
Let's go.
And then I've been getting into RuneScape lately. That game's neat. Current like retail RuneScape and not old school is actually kind of fun, and the humor in that game is honestly on point. Like that game is genuinely really funny. Aside from that, I've been playing a lot of Marvel Rivals because 2 new characters came out on Friday: Johnny Storm and the Thing.
Here's the thing.
Here's the thing. Johnny Storm is very funny. The Thing is neat. I've started getting the hang of him, but it's very weird.
Tanks are weird.
Let me. I've also been watching the new Spider-Man show, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Show is incredible. Like, if you're not watching that show, please go watch it. It's so good. What else? In terms of a long-running thing now, so I've been working through with Cody. We've been working through watching all of Power Rangers. We are now on Power Rangers in Space.
That's a
The
thing.
funny thing about Power Rangers in Space, at first it seems like they need to be in space, and then they resolve that plot thread within 2 episodes, but
Good.
they still stay in space.
Good.
Like they could
Because space
return-
is awesome.
they could return to Angel Grove whenever the fuck they want to. They instead stay in this spaceship. Don't give a fuck about their parents or anything. Aside from that, I've been playing a lot of tabletop games. I'm also playing in a Power Rangers game. I'm the White Ranger. That's been fun. I also just came from doing a session of the Marvel tabletop game where we're playing as the original first class of the X-Men, and I'm playing Cyclops. That was also a lot of fun. It's very interesting playing a character that I really enjoy that much and trying to do justice to said character. It's fun. Aside from that, I also started watching the 2nd season of Tokyo Revengers. That show's really good. I had forgotten just because it had been a while since I watched the first season. And then immediately was reminded, oh yeah, I remember why everyone started just not shutting up about this show. It is very, very good. Yeah, that's about all I've been doing. Played a little bit of Hades 2 with new update as well, but that's about it.
Nice.
Nice.
Also, what have you been up to? You were helping someone prepare for a thing this week.
Yeah, so what I've been doing for most of this like Pokemon season is like trying to get my friend Steve to Worlds because I think that I think that he's the best player in my city, and if I could do it, then surely he, right? Um, anything to get him away from having to play Smash Bros. Professionally.
True.
And he's been
2025, the year of our Lord.
and he's been doing pretty well this season, but he tried to get into the European International Championship, which is just a very large tournament in London that would like really boost. Like if you do well, then
You get a lot of points
gets a
for
lot of
ICs, like a
you.
ton.
It's like about double what you would get for the same placement at like a regional. And as such, there's only one in each like major continent area per year. And he's like kind of sad that he couldn't get into the EUIC this year because it just closed up immediately. Like he tried getting in like half a minute passed and people had already like filled up the slots for each of the 3 rounds of registrations. And then on last Thursday, they said on Twitter, we are releasing very limited spots for for VGC and TCG at 1 p.m. Mind you, in the middle of the workday because they're
Good
operating
luck.
at evening British time. Good luck, have fun. And somehow he got in those like 5 spots that
go.
they opened up. The problem with that is that was last Thursday. The tournament was Friday. The tournament started Friday, so he had
This week,
tournament just ended.
Yeah.
It literally ended today. Shouts to Wolf
It-
Glick for being the goat.
Go
our goat.
Terrabuggins
Wolf
in a row.
won. We'll talk about that in a minute.
We'll
But
talk about it in a second. But yeah, so he had like 5 days to not only plan like get lodging, get a flight, and find and build a team. But it wasn't 5 days because he spent the entirety because he thought that he wouldn't have to play like that much Pokemon. He spent he arranged for his girlfriend to come down from like a few hours away last weekend, so he was just booked for the whole weekend. So me and a few of our friends in like his Discord just did like all of the prep for him, and then just like slapped down a
Sent him on
team
his
on
merry
Monday
way.
and just said, "Good luck, have fun, tweak it to your will." This is what we came up with, and he did well enough to make day 2, and I made a tweet on Friday saying something like, "Yeah, if you want to know how prep for this went, Doorstop missed school because he was on vacation, looked at our notes for 10 minutes, and then aced the test, motherfucker."
bastard, bro. I was talking to Austin about it. It's very similar to what happened at NAIC last year, where I was in between teams, and literally the night before, it was like 12:30, and we were supposed to get on the flight like that afternoon or morning to New Orleans for NAIC. I went and texted Austin like, "Hey Austin, can you just send me the team you guys have been working on with the notes because I don't like Terapagos anymore," and then managed to still get points out of the event. I didn't do as good as Doorstop did here, but Doorstop's also better than me at Pokemon, so that's fine.
Yeah. But
Don't
I've been like
agree.
anxious. I've been
But,
like I was just like anxious about it because like it feels weird when I'm not because I don't really do that much prep for myself. So doing like all that prep for someone else made me so nervous. Other than that, I was supposed to go to a tournament today, just like in Lexington. I drove halfway there, and then realized that I forgot my Switch, so I couldn't even actually participate in the tournament.
No.
And the sad part is that the worst part about it was that I noticed this like right when I was like just passing an exit, where there wouldn't be another exit for for like 9 miles, so I just had to sit there continuing down the
Ugh.
road to Lexington, just suffering about what I've done until for 9 minutes before I had to turn around and drive the like 50 minutes that I had already driven back, and I was just like, well, I guess I'm gonna take a 2-hour nap because fuck me, I guess. Other things, I've been reading the light novels for Apothecary Diaries. I have these back here actually.
Pog.
You know, we got our 4 volumes. I finished the first two, and I am like just barely through the third, but they're very good. I think both the manga and the anime have like adapted it pretty faithfully, but I think there's like definitely something about the way that it's like being written as which makes it like very fun to read, like, as its own separate medium as well.
John,
That's about it for me.
I worked like 4 of the last 5 days, and I played Civ in between. That's kind of it right now.
let's go.
I also been playing a little bit of Pokemon because I have one more match in USPA coming up this week on Wednesday. but
Against one of my friends.
it's against someone Austin knows. Funny enough. So Austin's gonna help me prep because he knows what he's playing, right, Austin? Right. Right.
Yeah.
It works both
mean,
ways,
yeah.
John.
I mean, yes, but like,
Yes, but also I'm Austin's real life friend. This is a random guy he met because of Hawaii.
Austin's gonna be like, give me one
No, I met
second.
him- I met
Give
him
me
in
one
LA.
second, John.
You met him in
Yeah,
LA
so
and
here's what
then
John's
random at
doing.
Hawaii, right? But either way, seems like a super chill guy. They're 5 hours behind me in time zone, which is awesome because it means I can be like, hey, I don't live until 5 p.m. on the East Coast, so anything after midnight is awesome for me timing wise, actually. So looking forward to that. I'm feeling actually a little bit more confident than I have with like previous ones because it feels like 2 of my have I played 3 or 2? I played 3 different people. 2 of them are like legitimately really good people that I played against. I played 3 total, I think, right? So I played
let me pull it up because I'm curious. Hold on.
because I know I played Kyogre for 1, and then I played a different. I mean, either 2 or 3, but both were like 2 of those matches were really like solid players. One of them being like an actual like solid player that I almost managed to beat, who actually had not lost a set so far in USPA, I believe, until like the last week here. But
No, he hasn't. He is 6-0 in matches and 12-1 in games.
yeah, so he won every single match he played, by the way. And our set was closed on a loss of 1 game to a crit, 1 game to like a misread, but yeah. Because I have no Pokemon tournaments until probably the next format in Milwaukee, which we learned one of our friends is welching on us. And we're gonna flame the shit out of him because of it. As we should. Boo. But we are gonna go see a Brewers game over in Minnesota, so that's gonna be or Milwaukee. Pokemon also announced their last regional, which is in Portland. Boo, West Coast. Boo.
Boo, Portland. Boo.
Boo, Portland. Boo.
Okay, it's
but-
better than Peoria.
Listen, at least Peoria is within like 3 time zones of us.
I would rather go to Portland than Peoria. Peoria
But
sucked.
and then I watched a lot of EUIC. I pretty much watched all the stream matches over the course of my work week here. There's some really good matches this week. Wolf's the GOAT. Shocker. The guy is just a cheat code. Fun fact, Wolf Glick has won like 4 regionals and an IC now with Parish Trap as a strategy. No one else has ever won a single regional with that strategy. He's never lost a regional he's gone to. He's won every single time he's brought that strategy to a major event. It's actually insane. And just like watching it play is funny because there's literally a set where turn 1 of all 3 games he lost a Pokemon and still won 2 of the 3 games because in the first game he literally said, "Oh, wow, you're locked into choice specs. That's crazy. Here's a shadow tag. Here's a disable. Struggle for me." And watch 2 Pokemon in the field just struggle and not be able to do anything. And it's just, oh, it's so insane. But Pokemon's really cool. You should try it. Not the DCG, unless you can afford to. But good luck finding any packs or boxes for the new set. Believe me,
Actually,
we've
it's
tried.
insane.
We've tried.
I'm good
Not-
with Yu-Gi-Oh.
It's not gonna happen. But
Yeah,
yeah, Pokemon's cool. I've been enjoying it a lot. Looking forward to getting back into playing more as Milwaukee quickly approaches because we're already almost in March. Yeah, work's been good.
Yeah.
That's kind of it.
Hey, Michael.
Yeah, so I haven't like done a lot of things. I mean, I've been getting back into Destiny 2 with the recent, guys, it was like 3 weeks ago at this point, but like the recent big content drop. Is a thing I started doing before this season started, but like we haven't been able to talk about stuff. But Archipelago, Archipelago's been doing
Yeah.
archipelago things. So I started getting into Kingdom Hearts 2 randomizers from that.
No.
Oh.
No.
My
H2's
fault, wasn't doing
fun.
co-op.
No.
H2's so
No.
fun.
Michael
H2's
wasn't
so
doing a two-person.
I don't know.
archipelago.
Whenever
I'm just saying, man,
whenever
be
we
careful,
exist at
man.
the same time frame.
I started playing
True.
KH2 for like 1 week and immediately got pneumonia. So I'm
we should
just
find
saying.
a game that I can play. That
Just
Uh,
learn
there's
KH2.
a
you
lot of them.
just play like
Just play-
Pokemon Emerald.
Just play Kingdom Hearts.
I could do
dummy.
Crystal.
I don't know. If
He's like,
Crystal's
I'll
in
get you
I
Crystal.
don't
I
know
can't do
Crystal
Emerald.
the set
Crystal.
there, but
I
anyway,
know.
yeah, if you go to archipelago.gg, you can
That's
see the
true.
list of games.
True.
But the
'Cause
important
I-
thing with this is that like a few weeks ago, I think it was actually 2 weeks ago at this point, we started when I was like, okay, I want to try a different game than KH2 because I'd already done like 4 randomizers on it with archipelago stuff. I was like, I want to try Terraria because I really like Terraria. I wanted to see how it played. Boy, do I not want to do that again. Terraria is a game that probably works when you're playing with other people with low amounts of checks and faster games to play. Because Terraria's check system is, someone can send you a state of the game where this boss has been killed. And a lot of Terraria progression is built on when
Killing
this boss
bosses.
is killed, these NPCs spawn in. You're now allowed to fight this boss. Things become available.
Oh,
So
see.
I literally sat there waiting for hard mode to be unlocked for like 4 days, which is the back 3/4 of Terraria for people who haven't played it. And then I had to sit there waiting for playing Terra because our Dark Souls 3 player didn't play the game for a week and a half. He certainly has a set of settings because he doesn't have any boss waiting. So sometimes he'll walk into Udex Gundyr and it's phase 2 of Sister Freed. Which phase 2 of that is phase 2 and 3 of that fight. That is the duo fight into her becoming insane. To then watch him have Udex Gundyr as Soul of Cinder. Which, is really funny when he walks into Final Fight and it's fucking Udex Gundyr.
Is it fun?
And also, yesterday I played a game. I actually 100%ed this game yesterday. It took 3 hours. This game was made in 14 days by a solo dev who's an artist for another dev team. It was a game about digging a hole.
Oh
That's
no.
the name of the game. That's what it's
I've
called.
seen this game.
This
I've
This
seen
game
this
is
game.
very silly. 10 out of
RT
10
Game made a
experience.
video on it, and it was certainly
Yeah. So yeah, as
a
you can maybe
video.
guess, it's a game where you dig a hole. That's
it.
Man at the Beach Simulator, as some people have called it. I have called it the male fantasy.
True. Thank you, Michael.
So
Yeah.
This game, very silly. Very fun to just turn brain off, do funny, dig the hole, sell the ores.
Dig the
dodge-
hole,
dodge
get the
the
key,
moles.
open the chest, get the hole,
Yeah.
get the
so
hole, be the hole.
quick, one other thing I remembered. I also got a funny game. I got this funny little game called Void Stranger,
Ah,
and
I think I
Oh,
own Void Stranger. I just haven't played it yet.
it is something. I'm like an hour and a half into it, and I just constantly feel like I'm doing it wrong.
Sounds about right.
And I don't know. I've gotten to the second save point in it, and that's where I stopped. I'm excited to play more of it. It's just very much a game that I have to be in a certain mood for.
Mm.
But
I would love to be in moods for games, but my life ends in 1 week.
Oh,
that's
yeah, I
fine,
forgot
Sean,
that
you
comes
know.
out.
Monhun Wilds.
Yeah.
I literally have thought, I've talked with my fiance about picking it up because I never played Monster Hunter, but it seems like a really fun game. Sean, I need you to sell me on not buying it for the sake of my wallet and time.
So-
Can your PC run it?
Yeah, easily.
Shit,
Shit.
well, fuck.
That's why I'm not getting
mean,
my, I don't know if my PC can. I mean, I guess
they
I-
have
I
a they
could
have a
actually-
bench
what
they
are
have a
the
bench they
Yeah,
have a
I
benchmark
should do the
test.
benchmark.
They have a benchmark test.
I just did canirunit.com and it said yes. And so I went, okay,
They have
cool.
an official benchmark, I believe. It might even be in Steam. I know they have an official benchmark for it though.
Yeah.
I mean, here's what I'll say. Some people get really bored of that game because you might not realize it. And this might sound really dumb to say, but the game does have a gameplay loop that does involve you hunting monsters. And what you might not realize about that, if you are
It's
not
wild.
down to grind monsters to get specifically the items you exactly need to get everything you need to play the game, you're gonna not like it. Right? And there are gonna be fights that piss you off. There are gonna be
You do in
fights
fact have
that
to fight
make
Legatus
you
12
mad.
times and have to hit it in specific body parts to get different things to get all of the gear from it.
Like it is a
Go
game.
ahead, honey.
It's a game that I enjoy because I get to play it, and we get to do a fight with my friends. And while we do it, we just get to put hey Mr.
You're
Blue
shouting
Sky
at each
on in
other?
the background, and we get to go hog wild.
I'm probably gonna get it because it looks really cool, and I've always been interested in the gameplay loop. But I can definitely see how it can get old very fast sometimes.
I think also with Monhun, it is also a game of you need to find the weapon you. Oh, he's gone.
It's fine. It's fine.
No, because like when I started playing World, it certainly was like I really wanted to play Battlehorn. I started and I went, my brain cannot comprehend Battlehorn. There's too much to think about at any given moment, especially when you don't know the actual fights yet. Having to think about also what combo you're doing and what buffs come from them.
Mhm.
Brain can't do that. So it took me like 5 weapons to finally go, okay, I do really like Switchblade or whatever it is, or Switch X or whatever. the fuck it's
Which
called.
one? They're both real, Michael. Which
I
one?
don't know. It's the one that it's the one that switched
is-
from an axe to a sword.
Then that's Switch Axe.
Yeah. Because like I
believe.
tried a bunch
Fuck,
of them
wait.
sitting in a practice in like the dummy
Yeah.
range thing with like the person who had played the game a lot, and he's like, "Oh, is this how you do this?" I switched to Charge Blade, and he goes, "Okay, so for this you're gonna do this. And then you have to remember you actually need to restart this buff again, which is gonna give you this different thing." And I go, "Okay, what the fuck are you talking about? Charge Blade's dumb." And he goes, Longsword's cheating. And I go, damn, yeah, that's crazy. Because you just look at all the stuff Longsword does and you go, damn, that's stupid.
It's true.
Bow seems really fun once you have killed monsters and actually have the different arrow types. Because normal bow is stupid. I wish I liked like, stuff like Greatsword and the hammer. I was just like, that's a little too slow for the way I would want to play this game.
See, I'm lucky because I don't have to worry about learning any of those weapons because I got my buddy Ego to do it for me. But we were the world's strongest fucking great sword, and for a while I played longbow, and then I went, I feel like I gotta do more for you. What can I do to help you out? And I went Insect Glaive.
Insect Glaive does seem very funny.
I love
That is one
it.
I was like, this seems very
I
fun.
can't guarantee it's gonna be as good in Wilds because they've changed some things. But this is coming from a person who played through the whole base game of World without knowing the entire full scope of my weapon mechanic, and then got the Iceborne and went, holy shit, wait, I can do that? And then went, this is great. And I was
you
just
can go yeehaw around in the sky if you hit things.
I could do I don't even want to for Monster Hunter fans, I don't even want to begin to tell you the things I did not know I could do because you'd be so mad. You would be so mad at me for how I played Insect Glaive.
It was very fun in the dummy yard trying to see how high I could jump on the like so they have like a really tall thing you get hit doing just the
Yeah.
leaps in the air back and forth off of it.
Yeah.
'Cause Insect Glaive's fucking funny.
Really, the question is, and this is and I'll say, you know, maybe I'll clip it and send it to John afterwards, or I'll just tell him later. I'll just wait. Maybe it's just better if I wait for it. We could do that. I guess real quick while we wait, thing I didn't mention, I've been playing D&D. I got 2 of those things cooking. Oh, he's back. Perfect. But then we don't have to talk about why would he do that? why would he do that? I mean, like, it'll be fine. Like, I'll clearly still be able to see, but why would he turn the lights off downstairs? I don't.
Saving.
I mean, you actually did this last episode too.
Yeah, he did.
Oh no, he's totally fine. I don't know. It's such a weird thing to be like, yeah, we're streaming, lights off.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yes.
You walked downstairs and I went, why?
It's because the light works better when it's
That's
like
fair.
darker in the background because that helps me pop more.
So John,
I feel
here's
Except like that closet looks like someone's gonna come out and murder me because
So
it's like
here-
half open, it's
True.
just like black.
So John, here Michael's thing about Monhun
Monster Hunter.
is you are gonna have to figure out what kind of weapon you like to use, because that's a big part of like enjoying the game, is
Grinding.
having something well, that too. Like, it does suck to pick a weapon, play it, and go, maybe I like another one better when you're already like hours in and have grinded like three levels into a weapon tree. Because you have to redo a bunch of different shit.
You have to regrind all the mats for that other weapons.
If you're lucky, you'll switch from one weapon to another one that has a completely different set of trees, because there are some weapons that just use completely different materials. Like, if you use certain weapons, you will never touch certain monster materials ever in your fucking life, just because they're not in your tree. You're fine. The big things for me with Monhunter is, if you're gonna play with other people, are they people who are going to burn out quick because either they aren't going to mesh with the game, or they just burn out quick on multiplayer games?
In general.
My buddy Ego and I quite literally played through all of World and most of Iceborne together. So I know I'm going to play that game with him. Like, it's not a question.
It's not if, it's a win.
Other people, we're not sure. We also won't care if we start with like 5 people and it's just him and me grinding the game. I also won't care if it's just me grinding the game by the end of it either, because I like the game. The second thing is, do you think you'll get enough time out of it? Because realistically, it's just a matter of, like, if you do burn out on it, or you're like, okay, I want to go play something else, will you have gotten enough time out of it
Enjoyment out
for
of the
what
time
you've
you
put
have
in,
with it.
right?
Yeah.
For how much you paid, is it worth it? Like, I like World so much that I bought the game and its DLC twice. Should I have done that? Probably not. But, I mean,
semantics.
add it to the list of games that I own multiple copies of and bought at full price, because fuck it, I like it. It'd be like that. Fun little Monster Hunter anecdote, and then we'll move on to the actual podcast, I think. Because I think we'll be good. Are you good, Michael, or do you have more things?
No, I'm good. I
Okay.
just saw that the benchmark is 26 gigs, and I was like, huh?
Of RAM?
I saw that too, and I was like,
No,
ah.
the actual
Oh,
physical
the benchmark
yeah,
test
the
for the
benchmark
game?
test, yeah.
26 gigabytes.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I saw that.
Let's go.
Base.
Okay.
I'm getting it on PS5 for what it's worth. Which it is crossplay, so it won't
You know,
matter.
if I had
but
one, I would.
Thankfully.
But
I'm just gonna get it on my PlayStation because I have it. I might as well use it. So fun thing that happened is that I am in a Grim Hollow campaign for D&D, which is a grim dark fantasy setting. And I am playing a bugbear fighter. And originally my bugbear fighter was a samurai because I felt like it was at least somewhat fitting subclass. In between the time that we've hit level 3 and that we've actually had combat for the first time, a new source book. It's not. It's on D&D Beyond. It's partnered with Wizards, but it's not officially from them. From Griffin Saddlebag 2 came out. And Griffin Saddlebag 2 adds a couple of really fun subclasses. Particularly adds a fighter subclass called the Steelhawk. I have swapped my bugbear to a Steelhawk because I am using a glaive in that campaign. Because I think it's dope as fuck, and having a really long reach on my glaive because I'm also a bugbear is really fun. To which, Steelhawk, by the way, is, it pairs with, like, a lance predominantly, but you can really use any weapon. And the idea with Steelhawk is that it lets you vault into the air when you get the subclass at 3rd level. It lets you go 15 feet 15 feet however you want to split it. You can move horizontally or vertically. If you move one way, you'll always move at least 5 in addition up. So, like, if you're gonna go horizontally 15 feet, you're also allowed to go up 5 feet vertically, just for semantic sakes. And, like, it gives you advantage on your attack when you do it. It lets you deal extra damage, and stuff scales as you level. It's a really cool feature. We are playing the session where I finally swapped over, and we're doing our first combat, and we are doing a set piece where we are going down a river on a boat, and we have cleared the enemies off the boat, and now there's just archers in the grass, like off the riverbank. And I go, yeah, I'm gonna do it, and I'm just gonna fucking vault over their heads and attack them. And as I do it, Dylan stops and he goes, "God damn it, Sean, you're playing Insect Glaive." And I went, You got it. You figured it out. You found out why I wanted to do it. This is one of two mindsets you can have when you read this class. You're either Monster Hunter pilled and you go, that's Insect Glaive, or you're Final Fantasy pilled and you go, that's a Dragoon. Why are you're playing a Dragoon? Stop doing that. But with that,
We are an
Yeah.
anime podcast.
with that, we are an anime podcast. Did you
Are
know?
we?
Sometimes
It's half the time.
I kicked us off strong.
Maybe.
I
Half.
talked about some manga. There was some anime mentioned here or there. Ladies and gentlemen, there are going to be spoilers and harsh language for these episode 6s of the podcast. That's right, we're talking about our 8 shows, episode 6 for them, and we have the traditional, the classic, the power ranking.
Let's go.
Oh yeah, I forgot we do have to do that.
Yeah, we do
first.
have to do that. We always do have to
Do
do the
we?
power ranking. Hi, John. How you doing this week?
I wish Sean would just drop it like somewhere in like the middle of it. It would be funnier. I'm doing fine.
I had a feeling
not what I
Flower and
expected.
Asura was gonna be a double bold because I expected it to be in all 3 spots.
But it's not.
It's just funny it's in all 3 but didn't get double bolded.
Got doubled.
It got single bolded.
Wild that I am the only one with no bolds.
See, that can be a good thing and a bad thing, Mason. It's just a matter of opinion. But we'll
I
get
have
there.
good opinions. Everyone, at least
I
some
like
of
your
the
I will say
optimism,
Sakamoto
Mason.
days was no, it's Sakamoto was one of those I was like maybe it was gonna be a double bold because I knew I had it really low. But like
Sakamoto.
Well, we'll talk about Michael. Kick us off. Flower and Asura.
Flower and Asura. Okay. So this episode focuses a lot of its time. I don't remember what they call him in the show. But the other one of the 4 first years who joined the club, the broadcasting club, Akiyama I'm gonna be calling him. Because that's his last name. I don't know if they call him Matsuyuki or they call him Akiyama. I'm gonna call him Akiyama because that's easier to say. He's the guy he's introduced as the one who did the opening speech for the group or their class at the opening ceremony. And we learn he has Asian parents, which you may go, yeah, they're Japanese. Of course he has Asian parents. No, he has Asian parents. He quite literally can be quoted in this episode as saying, "My parents had the belief of if you're not a doctor, you don't have a job," or something of that sort. Like crazy. Yeah, so as episode, it's a lot about him and Hana. Kind of, yes, he's like the main thing in this episode. So him and An now need to start making their scripts for their announcements because like now the NHK Cup's kind of coming up like vaguely soon. It's still like probably in like a month or 2 at this point. But like they're still they gotta still start getting prepped. They gotta start writing their little thing for it. And also the people doing recitation need to pick their thing they're reading. So we also have a segment of this episode where Hana and Hakoyama, I'm gonna call him. Is this the male senpai with the deep voice? I don't remember what they call him in the show. Don't remember if they use the first name or last name. So like they need to pick their segments. I mean, this really fucking sick scene with the club advisor where he's like, okay, I'm not gonna tell you exactly what to do. I want to let you pick a section. Then Takayama's like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. He goes, okay, do this segment. And he goes, okay, I'll do it. Then Hana goes, I want to do this one. And he goes, nope, fuck you. That's too short. Why do you want to do that? She goes, because it has this quote. And he goes, that's actually twice more in this book. At exactly this page and this page. And I'm like, how the fuck do you know these things? This man has read all 7 of these books a million times. What the fuck is
Man
this
does his
creature?
research on his kids, bro.
This
He
is-
knows what
this
they're
is-
gonna do.
Literally
Don't say it like
Year
that.
from
Don't say it like
year.
that. John. Please don't say it
No,
like that.
no, I'm saying it like that. I'm saying it just like that.
This
And you have to
is-
deal with it.
God damn
So
it.
here's what I'll say is this is ideally this would happen, but probably not as fast, right? This would be a second. Realistically, this would happen in a second meeting, probably. Like
Yeah.
for someone who's not a sociopath.
Yeah, Kiji Joji just didn't say it. But yeah, so Hana now has the segment she's gonna read. And so does Hakoyama. They like know their passage. And also earlier in the episode, Toga Shudai the other one of the other male first year, the one who isn't doing a recitation of the thing. He's just here to do sound effects and stuff because he's a silly guy. Yeah, he's a production guy. He's like, I want to film something. Do you see how cool that camera is?
This is real, by the way. This is you go
This
through
is the
this.
plot. This is
Quite
indeed
literally,
the
you
plot.
see how expensive that camera is.
I fucking
Yes.
get it, dude.
No,
I-
John. I mean, this is real. This happens in real life. This is.
This
Oh
was-
no, I
This was
understand.
me walking into the basement of Kirchhoff.
So I'm trying
This
to
was
remember
me
what he
when we were
wants
in the
to make.
band
He
room.
wants
I'm
to do
like, I
a
want
TV
to play on
drama.
the golden vibraphone. It looked pretty.
Yeah.
He's like, I want to do a TV drama because essentially they need to do like something for the club, I guess.
Yeah.
And they go, hey, you can do it. He goes, bet TV drama. And they go, okay, Akiyama, write it. And and everyone goes, why him? And he goes, I'll do it.
He looks
Or
pretty
whatever.
smart.
Like, yeah, he looks fine. He's like, I want to try. And then we also have a section where, so for the announcing segment, they need to, at least the way they're building their speeches this time is from an interview with someone. I don't know if that's how that generally works. I have no idea. But like so she gets her interview done, and then Akiyama goes, "Hey Hana, I want to talk to you. I want to interview you about stuff." And they have a little talk. It's cute. It's a little interview thing. We get a little bit more into Akiyama's thoughts about his parents. This is where we get the line about his parents. You also get a segment right at the beginning where we like actually see him interacting with his parents, and you're like, "Oh, ouch, this is gonna hurt when we get like really deep into this stuff."
Oof, ouch, me parent trauma.
You also have a silly bit while Hana and him are doing the little interview thing because An's like they're like in the like soundproof room while everyone else in the club's like in the recording room, and she's like, "Oh, because." It's set up in like episode 1. An likes Akiyama. It's like a very clear thing about her and him. And like he gets like a little bit too close. They're getting a little bit too friendly in there. And she's like, "Oh," Hana's like, "No, okay, we could end it here. Yep, yeah, end it right here." Because An's giving her a fucking death glare through the glass. But yeah,
They do the. They
Oh, we
watch her do the reading to
yeah.
the kids. That's how the episode ends.
yeah, we get that. We also we get like 3 different readings of stuff this episode. Because An does her first draft of her speech. It's one of those things where like, when they said the one segment, I'm like, I feel like I know what they're saying, and then they like talk about it. You go back, you go, oh, she does say the
No,
word item
yes.
3 times. That's
So-
whack. Or
so-
word menu.
So here's a fun thing about this. If this is one of those odd things. If you were writing this, you would realize it. If you were speaking it, you would realize it. If you were just hearing it, you might not. But if you're being judged on it, they absolutely would. But if you read that sentence, if I were to give you her script and you were to read it, you would go, holy fuck, that's a long sentence. Because holy fuck, that's a long sentence.
Yeah.
I did not realize how long that sentence was, perhaps because it's in Japanese.
Yeah, and also
one-
because the subtitles are split into like
Yeah.
it's like 3 sets of subtitles. Then you realize
They
she didn't. That
are
was
all
one
com-
sentence in
and-
3 sets of subtitles.
And they are all commas in that sentence.
Yeah.
But like you would read that and you get holy fuck that's long, and you would also probably by the 3rd time you say item, you would go fuck, god damn it,
Yep.
I need to not, because I've been here, because you do this for any kind of like. This goes for like any kind of real technical writing, not just like this could go for like writing a paper, writing an essay, newspaper writing, journal writing, like any of this kind of stuff. You go, I use that word too much in that small span that it's bothersome.
It doesn't work.
Because
Yeah.
it is. It's real. But no, I did not catch it when she was doing the read itself, again because it's in Japanese.
Yeah.
Classic theme
Also,
of the
the
show.
subtitles I had, I think, removed the word menu one time or whatever, or item, whichever word it is that gets repeated 3
I think
times.
it's item.
Item.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went back and checked.
I've been in like
Yeah.
at work. I've been in like report writing hell for like the past like few weeks, and it's definitely been something that just keeps coming up, and you're just like, did I just use that like 8 times in this paragraph? I guess that's, and I'm just like, I guess that's the way it's gonna be. Sorry, but having her talk about like there being only 3 times in that passage is like a little bit of like, I wouldn't have to deal with that while watching anime. Let's not.
Get away from me, go.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I made a solo stick talking about the interview. Yeah, because the thing that ends it is him going, "Oh, you do the reading to children. Would I be able to go watch you do that like this Sunday?" And she goes, "Sure." And then On gives her the death gun. She goes, "Oh, maybe we invite the whole club." I forgot. That's
Yes.
how that bit happened. I'm like, I know she gets the death glare. I just didn't remember exactly what led to it, but yeah, it's.
I
And
love
then she goes
these
her little
interactions.
thing.
I love these little interactions. This
This
cast,
gang, I
yeah.
love this gang of four. They're so good.
They're
Now that
great.
we finally gotten them to just like open up to each other and just exist.
Yeah.
They're such a fucking gang of goofballs. I love them.
The cast is slowly getting more time to be people, and that's great. That's what this show needs. I really liked the back and forth with the advisor. I thought, everything he says makes sense. I really enjoy it. Like I like that he raises a lot of concerns to the upperclassmen where he's like, you have a very particular voice. Why aren't you doing the things your voice are suited for? And the answer is, I like this. And he goes, good enough, fine. Since you're doing that, let's see how we can best apply your voice to the text you've picked. I would recommend these things. And he says the things he recommends. I go, yeah, that sounds fucking good. I would want to hear this dude read to me about death. Life and death sounds like a great theme for his voice. Fucking kicks ass. And then he goes, here are really your two options. And he goes, and also, you should really not pick the one because you might get busted by the judges because it contextually gets applied to a female speaker. And he goes, well, shit, that makes it easy for me now, doesn't it? And I go, mm-hmm. A good advisor right there. I'm not sure how I feel about the passage Hana gets. Just because, like, this is a very odd thing. I'm interested to see what this winds up looking like when we get the actual performance from her. Because, like, just from this the sample read through, like, I'm like, this seems a little rough. Like, it just seems like you were devoid of a lot of context from this story, which I understand would probably be the case for a lot of things. But this story in particular seems really hard because it seems like a very hard thing to pull things from that people are going to actually be able to like, have a clear understanding of it. So I'm interested in that. I will say I was not fully sold on this selection. So we'll see if that changes at all. But I really like this episode. Generally positive points from me.
I want to
The
hear
show's-
you.
Go ahead.
Two nice people trying to let the other person go first.
Austin talk.
I'm curious to see like how often we're going to get like recitations of like her passage in future. If we're going to like slowly build up. We hear like bits and pieces of it each episode to like the final recitation, and it's just like slow and like we slowly start to hear it like build up and get better, or if we're just gonna like just get kind of like blue balled until the actual recitation happens. Which I can't imagine like they would do, but like I just it makes me very curious to see how exactly they're going to go about like the practice.
You do have an odd thing where it's like, are you gonna accidentally make me hear it too many times? Like that is a worry, right? Where you're like, I don't want to hear you have to read this passage 7 times before the actual show. That won't do me any good.
This show's just solid. Like, it's just a good time. I enjoy watching the characters just
Sorry, we had a cat
exist
coop situation.
with occasional bits of pretty reading.
The reading's very pretty.
The reading is very pretty.
Is the reading very pretty or is the image very pretty? See, that's my thing. Is I understand the reading is supposed to be pretty, but I can't tell that the reading is like pretty
And that's why
if I close my eye and listen to it,
then you
it
don't
would
know what
sound
she's saying.
just like anything else.
I don't think that's true. I do think
I do think the audio works with the video. I think they definitely mesh together.
Not like one for one, but
her voice
like-
is definitely different on the reads. I do think of the recitations
yeah, they
we've
bass
gotten.
boost it.
I do think I think there's more than that. I do think this is probably the weakest recitation, in my opinion, of some of the ones we've had personally, which again I think goes into the I'm not too sure about this selection for her, but that also might be intentional.
And it's also her like
First time doing it.
out loud read of it, which is it's like that might be it's really hard to tell how intentional that is because
Yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, I get it.
Like
You know,
there,
this show is
And
like
again,
an uphill battle being in Japanese.
I'm embellishing it a little bit, because it makes it more interesting. But like that is just like how the show has been for me in general. It's just like
I get it.
it's hard to get invested in the ideology of it, right? In a sense of just like, reading very good. I'm like, yes, she is saying words to a degree.
Those were very
Um,
pretty pictures. I do agree.
The pictures were very pretty.
I actually really think having the PA script in the episode helps. I think it helps a lot because it gives you a second type of reading that's traditionally a little drier. And like you get in the episode traditional talking between the characters. You get the reading for the recitation. You get the PA script, and then you get a second reading at the end of the episode with the kids. And they are all different. In like the tone they're delivered, how they're delivered. I do think there are some elements that not being native Japanese speakers that I would really like from the show that I don't get. Because like for me, I'm almost never going to be able to put the accent and like the stress of certain words with the actual word in the subtitle, right? Like I might be able to actually hear the stress on certain words, but I won't know just because I don't actually speak Japanese. Like my brain will not be able to look at the subtitle and go, that word was said here. I can't do that. That's not in
Yeah,
my
and also that-
skill set.
Yeah, that's also not how like Japanese is like formulated in its sentences.
Yes.
It's set up very differently.
So like I get it. For me though, I think the show is still doing enough that I'm nowhere near ready
Sure.
for this to go. Is where I fall with it.
No, I think that's fair.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, you really liked it, Austin. You really liked it this week.
Yeah, I really well, let's put it this way. Just
Compared
as a
to
whole,
other things.
compared to other things, as a whole, like we'll get into this. I was not a fan of all of the episodes that we watched this week. Like I thought that this week as a whole was very mid. It just happened to be slightly better. That I just happened to like it slightly more than all of the all most of the other shows because I very much enjoyed the dynamics of I thought the scenes with the advisor were incredibly cool and just like how he was like picking apart what passages fit with the voices and recommending stuff to him. And I thought that the interactions between like all of the like club members are, very fun. Um I just thought that a lot of the other shows just weren't as good.
And we'll talk about them.
I actually
talk
thought it was a pretty solid week overall. Maybe
I-
not an amazing week.
I just thought
But
it
there
was
was not-
like mid.
Yeah,
I-
there
I'm with
definitely
Austin.
weren't any episodes I thought were like really bad this week.
Yeah.
I have a couple. We clearly, by power ranking, have a couple of shows. There's some slight disagreements on this week. But
Yeah,
I
there's one in particular we're gonna get to.
Yeah.
I have like a very specific point I want to make
obviously.
about it.
yeah. There I will stand by the fact that I do kind of think that for me there is a show this week that I thought was fucking stellar. And then there were a couple I thought were really good, and I thought everything else were just good. So like I don't disagree. It's just that my opinion on level of mid is I always skew things a little higher because I'm nice.
Oh, Sean, it's nice you think that.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Somebody's gotta be nice on this podcast.
It's okay, Sean. Austin, you'll never be Dylan.
Yeah. The only time I'm not nice is if your name is Momentary Lily. Then you're
If
you're shit
you're
out of
giving
luck.
me a migraine and an aneurysm at the same time, then we
Listen,
then,
man,
then we
calling
have
calling shit is just a pastime.
But Austin,
Sometimes it's a polished shit.
let's talk about your show next. I have a crush at work.
So this is a very, very Yui focused episode
Yeah.
where she is kind of having a little bit of a conniption where she
It's a
is
good word for it.
she's been at the company for 6 years now, and she feels like she's doing a lot, but she's also feel like she's not accomplishing
Bless
a
you.
lot. This is kind of like exemplified in a meeting with the future business department, where she's talking about where they're going over their workflows and the development of their new products, and she gets offered to join like the future business group, and she's like hesitant, because she wants to prove herself, but this is also like a really good opportunity for her to further her career, and the person that's offering it to her is like this kind of smug looking guy, and
Kind of
he's
a
like,
douche.
what's stopping you? What's stopping you, bitch?
Get over here!
Never mind. Come work for us. We're totally safe and cool, dude.
Imagine poaching
We
within
just
your
vibe
same.
over here.
Imagine
we don't
poaching
follow
within
no
your
fucking
same
rules.
company.
Right. And she's very stressed about it, and talks to Masagu as they're going out to get sweets to try it.
Oh, they do more than talk.
Oh, this is the first time.
She gets stressed, so that way they go and have
That's
sex
right.
to
You're right.
relieve
You're right. The
stress.
first time they do
Obviously.
just
first time. And she's like pondering over it like a lot more, and eventually she gets like stressed to the point where she goes over to see Masagu, and then they fuck.
They
they've
do
been doing
that.
that a lot.
They do that.
And she's been, and he talks her down, and just they have like a cute moment after after had sex, and she's like, I'm not really sure what what the right answer with like transferring departments is, but like I don't think anybody should be making that decision for you, so don't let other people do the whole and the everything. And she eventually decides to join the future business.
Well, she stays in her current department, right? And then she decides to still join the meeting, basically.
Yeah.
So she's doing
So
both.
it's two separate things. So she fucks up. She has a lot going on. She fucks up transferring proper information over to her team about something they're working on, and she gets chewed out for it.
Sure.
Which kind of builds into this. But then she winds up going, no, I think I want to keep focusing on the team-based projects, and the director of the future business group is like, hey, is that your plan for your next sweet idea, like sweets idea? And she's like, yeah, but I missed the deadline to submit it. And he goes, fuck deadline, submit it anyway.
I'll submit it. If it's good, they'll take it.
Kind of based, but
Yeah.
also
If they don't take it, they don't take it. But
Yeah.
like you don't
Like
know.
he's
if
an
you don't
asshole,
try.
but he's right.
Yeah.
Like it's like what's the
Like-
worst they're gonna say is, oh, too bad. Like
Yeah. and like and
I
her,
kind of love Kiribayashi. He's kind of like awesome.
I
But
don't
He's a
also,
dick, but
he's
I
also
don't-
potentially a fucking dick.
I don't trust him by context of the show he's in.
Well, that's fair.
I don't like implications of this man's character in this kind of show. But like her idea is like, I haven't accomplished any of the goals I've actually set out to do yet. If I leave now, I'm just giving up on them. So I'd rather stick with my team, accomplish that things, and then maybe swap. But you sent me an email about your special study session plans you guys do, and there's a lot of cool shit in there that's like actually beneficial. Would you fucking let me attend those? And he was like, that's weird. You're not gonna come work for me, but you still want something? This is exactly what I told you to do, but a little weird. Sure, I guess. And that's how that goes.
mhm.
Man, this show given a new meaning to the phrase smash cut, huh?
The fuck, Sean.
I appreciate how real this show is. Not relatable to me in any way at all, but I appreciate a character going, man, this shit got me stressed. Hey, will you just fuck?
Will you relieve that?
We gotta fix this. And he's like, yeah, sure.
I mean, sure.
I mean, if you insist.
Do you want to stay the night? No, I actually got shit I gotta go do. Sorry about that. Kind of weird, but bye.
The show's really good. I think that I love the two characters dynamic is really good. Like they are just adults doing adult things, and
Yeah.
that's good. They should do things like this because it makes their characters feel like actual people. Do I think it goes a little hot and heavy at times? Yes, it does. But again, like
This is much better than
So
last
what?
week.
Yeah.
They do the thing.
last
I
week they're on
wanted to do this
vacation,
episode.
man. That's
They just
fair
kinda
game.
goes,
Listen.
It happened.
I think
Yep.
this is also just I think this is a really good episode, generally covering like office workplace problems, and
This is like a
feelings.
solid
Yeah.
workplace drama.
it's good.
Yeah.
Like this episode
It's
rules.
actually like a good adult show about just
Yeah.
working.
I have this a little
Um,
lower just because I thought on other stuff, and there was other shows that I was like, they struck me more as like they had moments I really liked, or they had things that I enjoyed a little more about them. And this show was just fine this week.
Yeah.
That was kind of where
I
I
just
fell
really
on
like
it.
the workplace drama stuff. I had a fun time with all of that.
I just
Like-
like the characters. The characters are fun. They're doing cool things.
You could
like
you could probably toss this around on my list with Flower and Asura and Honey Lemon Soda for me. I would not particularly feel too. I'm gonna talk about particularly with Honey Lemon Soda. There's something about Honey Lemon Soda this week that I really liked, and I want to talk about it, and that's why I gave it the edge over this. And we kind of just talked about Flower and Asura, and I just generally liked a lot of this, like, consistently all the scenes in the episode. Everything else above it, we'll talk about why I have those there, too, but...
sounds good.
One small thing about Crush at Work. Was anyone else surprised when she said, "Oh, I've been working there for 6 years"?
It does feel like a long time,
Yeah.
but
Because it's
I
one of those things where I go, have like we been watching since they started,
no,
or did we start at year 5?
we
And somehow
started
they've
a
been
bit...
keeping this
We
secret
started at-
for
they've been
5
working-
years.
Well, the relationship is relatively new, right? Is as far as I'm gathering, is how I look
Yeah.
at it. Like their relationship is
Mhm.
new, but they've been working together for years. That's why they know each other and why they have this like rapport with each other and why they like.
But I
you
also
know,
think she
slowly
might have
developed.
been at the company a little longer because she seemed like she did like a program that went from
But they're part of the
school-
same cohort, and I don't know what that means. But like,
yeah,
I
but
assume that meant they came in like together
True,
in
I'm
like
not-
the same group.
I'm not sure if she's counting
I
exactly
mean, they came
when...
in together.
True. I'm not sure if they're counting when she started officially or when she started like just working for the business entirely, because like she implied that like there was implication that she had done stuff with like kind of like carryover and like transferring in. I'm not sure. It does feel like
It's
a
just one of
long
those things where
fucking
I saw
time.
6
It's
saw
a
6
bit
years.
of a
I
weird
was like,
timing thing. Yeah,
one does
I
she?
agree.
What I was like, one she doesn't exactly look like she's been there for that. She doesn't look. I mean, I guess age doesn't really. At that point, anyone who's between
Translate.
I mean,
anyone
this
who's
is-
between 23 and
this is
37
the
in an
type
anime
of-
looks exactly the same.
This is
Yeah.
the type of
So-
job you can work while finishing like university, for what it's worth, right? Like
Fair.
this is the type of job where like finishing university while you're working it is actually probably better than having finished university and going to work for them. It does feel like a long time. 6 years.
It was
is
just
a
it was
pretty
very
big
weird when
number.
she goes 6 years and I went, really?
Are you
They,
sure?
Cool.
they definitely have not been together that long. I would put year at.
No.
I actually think
No.
Next week's episode.
They're
is the
having
1
way
year-
too much
is-
sex to have been together that long.
I think
But also-
next week's episode's the 1 year anniversary, actually, given episode title, if I'm right.
But-
Spoiler.
But also think about it this way: if you have like 5.5 years of sexual tension between you and your
True!
coworker,
This is
that
what it would
explains a
look
lot.
like.
that explains a lot.
What do you mean? They were just good friends.
And they-
And
And now
also,
they're really good
bitter
friends.
enemies.
And also bitter frenemies.
I got married to a girl.
I hate it at my work.
Well, Mason.
So ZENSHU this week. We handle the fallout of what happened at the end of last episode. Essentially, it seems like Luke ended up saving Natsuko from getting eaten by the Void. She very nearly died, and yet at some point during the episode, it's not at the beginning, but at one point we find that she was kind of corrupted by the void and only got saved by Mamelon and Unio and QJ all helping to like uncorrupt her. Got her arm. But they kind of sit down at like they have a discussion about it. Luke ends up kind of yelling at her for always running in and trying to take care of it herself and not relying on them. And they have a conversation about it, and she ends up admitting that, yeah, I'm kind of doing all of the work. I should probably trust you guys to do your part. And then we cut to a point where Luke has gone to see the graves of his dead friends, and Justice shows up. And she chats with him a bit, kind of like, hey, you want a drink? Like, giving him the usual treatment. And he's just like, essentially talking about how he misses the friends and wants to know, like, what's going on with her. Sheets, worms.
As you do.
And
True, like you do.
they look like cigarettes, and that visual gag just got me for some reason because of the fact that it is, oh, it's a cigarette. No, it's a worm, because it is a kid's movie at the end of the day.
Oh no, it's a cigarette again. No, it's a worm. Why are you eating the graveyard worms?
That is gross. Please stop doing that.
After this, we get a bit of them making a plan to deal with the void. It has kind of hibernated for the day, right up against the Soul Future, so they're planning out how they're going to take care of it. Natsuko ends up, as opposed to building something to fight it, she ends up drawing stairs for them to reach it. Also, during this fight, Mamelon and QJ immediately get eaten. Like, immediately.
Yeah, the plan falls to shit right away.
Yes. And then Unio loses his horn, so he can't transform into an actual unicorn and fly. After a while there, Justice shows up and is like, hey, what do you need? Natsuko just immediately starts barking orders at her, telling her she needs to fly so that Natsuko can get a good look at where Unio and are. Ends up flying. Luke notices that she is flying poorly and sees her messed up wing. Manages to get Natsuko close enough to get a good look. They beat the void after Unio launches Luke with a kick. It's magically enhanced. Mamelon and QJ fly out of the void, as this was part of the plan all along, and Luke saves the day. There's a nice talk with Justice afterward of, hey, you could have just told me this, and Justice going, no, I'm not going to let you, I wasn't going to let you take the blame for it and wreck yourself with guilt like you were always going to do. And I believe that's basically the end of the episode. Oh, and Justice hands over Natsuko to Luke, and he very clearly is like into Natsuko at this point. Cares about her a lot. He's falling in love with her. That was a very rudimentary explanation of this episode, but
That's what happens.
yeah, that's what
Exactly.
happens.
The more I think about this episode, the more that I'm like, I actually have lots of small gripes with this episode,
Mm-hmm.
but this episode's actually still really good.
It's just-
And like, I still like this show a lot, which is why it's still in my number 2 slot. Like it's really solid at what it does. But like, there are small things that like, it happens and I'm like, bothers me a little. Like, there is something, even though it is the whole like thematic premise, there is something really odd and like unsatisfying that all she does is draw stairs this episode.
Yep.
Like,
Fair.
it's so fucking, like, it bothers me, right? Especially because, like, in my mind, part of this was, like, just, like, draw a thing to fix Justice's wing, and that'll help solve the flying problem.
That was
And
what
that's-
I
done that
expected.
just
And
in
that's
our
where,
free
this is
time.
where my brain's been for 2 episodes, and the fact that it hasn't happened yet, I'm like, I guess we're not doing it. It also really bothers me that they're at the graveyard and Justice is sitting right next to Luke, and their wings are completely spread
Clearly
out.
messed up.
And Luke has never once fucking noticed, and I'm like, bro, look at him.
I don't know.
I also really like the line from Luke. The only person who can fly is Yunio, so we'll be working on him. I'm like, what the fuck is QJ doing then? What the fuck is he doing up there? He can fly, can he? What's going on? I don't understand.
No one said Luke was the smartest protagonist.
No,
They just said he was a
That's
protagonist.
you know what? That's a really good point. That actually resolves 90% of my problems. Is reminding me that Luke's a dumbass, and that's pretty good.
Also, there is a line in the dub of this episode that had me losing it, which is Yunio says something right before they're about to do the plan, and Natsuko makes the comment of, "Dude, stop it. What is it with you and death flags?"
Yeah,
Yeah, that one was funny. She said that's a major death flag.
yeah.
I think what she said. Yeah, I like that one too.
I think a really well done bit in this episode is them resolving the Luke jealousy thing with Justice of Natsuko's just drawing Mimolin making faces. And she's like, yeah, I don't have a lot of art. But there's not a lot of reference art for you or Justice. And Luke goes, what? And she's like, yeah, I don't see him a lot, so I just, I like to draw. I could draw every single fucking expression you could ever make, Luke. And he's like, wait a minute, this is a massive W for me. She can't get me out of her mind. And she's like, and I did it when I was a kid. And he's like, I'm living rent free. And I think that bit is really good. I really like that.
Like as well as episode, I watch. I'm like, yeah, this is great. Like I think back and go, yeah, the whole premise of her learning not to only rely on herself is kind of like pretty straightforward with the way they set it up, but also it's cool.
The only thing I really didn't like in that episode was like jump cutting from like last episode into like
Yup.
suddenly everything is fine. Also, it's
Yeah,
attached to the wall now.
crazy.
Don't worry about it.
I would agree. I definitely agree with that. It's like I feel like I'm missing something here. I feel like there was another episode, but there just wasn't.
Yeah,
Wasn't.
no, yeah, and I was talking to Sean about this before. I was like, this show certainly hit me with the, did I skip an episode? Moment
And
right at the
then we
start of it. I was
solved the problem,
I
kind
was like,
of.
what? And I was like, oh, it's wrapped under the soul. Because my brain hadn't visualized what a soul future was yet, because there visually are just fucking a glow effect on the screen.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, does it just have it? The chrysalis is made around it? No, it just made a chrysalis under it for some reason, instead of just grabbing it.
It's just vibing.
Also, it is really, really whack how the way they solve this fight is Luke needs to climb up the tower so he can hit it once.
My man just hit it harder the first time.
Yeah, I'm like,
man,
oh
your
my God, I
sword.
need to hit harder.
Get a better
earlier.
sword, bro.
I think the idea is that you're like, it's too fast normally because they had issues hitting it before, so they had to hit it in a way where there was no way for it to dodge.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
also, the Melm had to hit it with the freeze spell,
Stasis
which he wasn't
spell,
able
yeah.
to do because it jumped
Freezing.
out and then playing with the shit within 14 nanoseconds.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I play D&D. Yeah.
So at the fight, oh, that's not how we wanted that to go.
Yo,
Guys, the monkey's on the floor. He missed 4 stunning strikes.
QJ's been eating. What do we do? QJ wasn't a part of the plan. We were fine, dude. We would be okay.
QJ was
QJ's
actual
been eating.
bait.
Glad
QJ
he's
was-
still.
and
QJ's been
nothing of
eating.
value
Good.
was
Did-
lost.
Exactly
Did
like we
not-
planned.
Did nothing come out of Yunio losing his horn this episode? It didn't, right? We didn't resolve that part
No.
of the episode. He just still
Yeah.
doesn't have his horn.
No, she used it to
No,
tie her
she-
hair back, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it looks based as fuck. Good for
Yeah,
her.
it looks
That was the
great.
extent of
awesome.
Yunio's horn.
Also-
That's it.
Side note, by the way, I think it is very cool that we're getting a visual through line of her growing, of her putting her hair up and taking the sweatshirt off. I think that's a neat visual touch.
I also
Sure.
I also
It
really
doesn't do
like
anything for me, but I agree.
I also really like getting answers again, continually fleshing out the. So what happened? There were 9 of you, right? And the answer was, yeah, it's gone really shit.
Yeah, 4
they
of them are dead right
they
now.
have indeed. This is indeed the last Soul Future. We are kind of knee deep into this JRPG right now.
Coming
Yeah.
into the four game long series of JRPGs in Game 3.
Yeah, we finally got to see the last one I think we had not gotten any visual indication of, which is they're just an Undertale character. They're just Undying.
Yeah.
Yep.
Crazy. Fish.
Fish.
I will say this is like the least insufferable that Unio's been all series so far.
Also true.
Yeah, I'll let you know. I took off the Slayer save Unio. Just because I also just felt like he wasn't really present a lot this episode. It felt a little weird.
That's why he was the most tolerable this week, guys. He wasn't
Yeah.
there.
Honestly, he did do something kind of based with the kick at the
It was
end.
awesome.
The kick was sick.
that was
I
sick,
have
that
to
was
admit it.
Hey, you know what? Just so he can get a dub, maybe get a W. I'll put it back on. Why not? Give me a second. Hey, we can keep talking while I do this. There's no reason to.
I mean, overall, I think the show is just really solid. Like, it does have small little bits of it that are odd choices, but overall, I think the fantasy world is fleshed out really well. It's a fun satire of certain tropes. I just think this show's a good time.
There is the weird like demon-headed chicken thing that's just like sitting around. That's like, hey, that's like you're gonna fail. It's like, not yet, I guess.
Cool.
Nothing
That's
you
the
do
plot,
matters.
brother.
What is that? What do you mean?
Thank you, Kippora Gabora's brother.
Thank you, ominous voice in my head.
Thank you,
Nothing really
thank
matters.
You, my sleep paralysis demon.
Basically, yes.
What did I do? There we go. My mouse is generally just really slow right now. I'm not sure why. Like, I'm fucking around. Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, ZENSHU is still just a good show. Like,
Yeah,
it really comes down to, and like I said, it was like one of the least offensive episodes this week, as Austin put it. So, that's, good enough for,
now we get to have a really
top tier
fun...
spot.
John, now we get to have a really fun conversation.
What do you mean? Sakamoto time.
Yeah. So, God, hold on. I'm posting this screenshot in the chat because I love this. Out of context, I fucking adore this screenshot. This is probably one of my favorites that I grabbed for this episode. So this week, paintball. So the gang needs money because we keep getting attacked or supermarket keeps getting attacked, and we need money to actually like exist functionally as a family without going broke and having this place look like a shit show. In the meantime, we also get introduced to this episode's new assassin of the week, Heisuke Mashimo, and his bird, Pichon.
No, it's Beasuke.
Pichon. Piske.
Is it? So
it's
in
Beast-
the dub, it sounds like Beasuke.
It's Piske.
Like he was hey, like for A, and it was B. It was like A and B.
Yeah, it's a P in the sub. Piske. I watched this dub though.
Did you watch it with
Did
subtitles?
Did I watch
You
this
just watch
dub
it dubbed
this week? Did I watch?
Dubbed-
I
Did you
might
just watch
not
it
have
dubbed
watched.
with
Maybe
subtitles?
I watched it dub with subtitles. I don't remember anymore. It all blends. I could no, because I definitely remember Lou's drunk voice in English. So the gang. So first, Heisuke shows up and he's like, "Hey, I heard Taro Sakamoto's here. I'm here to kill him." And my first thought is, why'd you walk in the door? I know you need to
This is
identify.
stupid.
True. I know he needs to identify his target. Like he could, but like you would think. I guess maybe he spent 5 hours staring down the barrel of his rifle and went, "I don't fucking see this guy," and so he just walked in and gave up, which I think is very fitting for him. But he walks in and everybody gaslights him into thinking that Sakamoto isn't here. In fact, there are so many Sakamotos in this world, you may never find him. And he goes, well, shit, this really
Well, shit,
sucks,
that's a good
guy.
point.
He goes, I'm fucking broke. I can't afford that many train rides if there's this many Taro Sakamotos in all of Japan. Well, Piesuke, I guess we're dead. We can't live anymore.
We're cooked.
And he starts to head out, and then his stomach growls, and they pity him, so they give him free food. We also find out that Shin tries to read his mind, and it's fucking 5-year-old crayon drawings. We're doing great. This case,
Quite literally, he says it's not worth the energy to read his thoughts.
It hurts him too much.
Nice.
And then Heisuke, well, we actually get a little bit of background about him. We find out that he's recently been fired from his assassination organization because he spec'd into being a really good sniper, and everybody went, yeah, but our assassin org makes you fight with daggers your first week and do paperwork, so you kind of suck, dude. Fucking who needs specialists in this field? Stares at camera. Who needs specialists in this field? That's a different Hitman manga. And so, Heisuke happens to find the paintball tournament flyer and shows up for it, only to find out he needs to have a team. And so he cries a lot, and Sakamoto feels bad, and they let him on the team. Also, Lou's not participating because, she doesn't like violence. So she won't play paintball. And then everybody lines up and loads and arms themselves with real ass guns filled with paintball. Like these are not paintball guns. These are real ass guns, and they've just filled with paintballs. And Sakamoto's team fucking start shooting, and it's going real good. And you know what? Eisuke's kind of fucking cracked with it. A real good shot. And then Lou goes, "You're doing great, Taro Sakamoto. You're the best." And Heisuke goes, "What did she just say?" And they go, "What? Does he look anything like that photo?" And he goes, "No, that's actually a really good point. He looks nothing like that fucking photo." And then Lou goes, "Yeah, but that's just when he's thinner. I like him when he's chubby." And Heisuke goes, "Are you fucking lying to me?" And then goes and gets his real ass rifle and starts causing problems. And so
I hate liars.
Yeah, and then so we do a game of cat and mouse, where they run through the entire shopping district. Which should be noticed, this paintball game is a bit so that they will cover the entire shopping district in paint, so that they have to clean it, so that the entire shopping district gets cleaned. Very base.
Actually, very base.
Very base.
Very base.
The problem is they weren't expecting real gunfire, so they wind up destroying half the shopping district.
Win some, you lose some.
We wind up getting I think this is actually where we get his backstory, because he winds up monologuing into the earpiece radio at them, and Shin's like, "Dude, shut the fuck up, please. I don't need this right now." At which point Heisuke goes, "Oh shit, you heard that?" And Shin yells directly into his eardrum, causing him to give his location away, and Sakamoto fucking breaks his rifle with a rock. And then he goes, "Dude, what the fuck am I supposed to do now? I literally am worthless. I have fallen." And they go, "The winner of the tournament is Sakamoto's team." And Sakamoto goes, "You're actually like the best sniper I've ever met. You're kinda cracked with it, dude. Good luck out there. Have 50 yen. Goodbye." And at the end of the episode, we get a bit where Shin's talking to Sakamoto's wife, and she goes, and he goes, "So like, who asked who out first?" And then we get the flashback in the supermarket, and it's very cute. And then Shin goes to read her minds, and he immediately feels immense pressure as Sakamoto kills him. Sakamoto goes, "New rule. You are never allowed to read my wife's mind. This is too valuable of information to share with the public."
Also, way too dangerous to read that mind.
Almost
She has
certainly.
tamed the world's greatest assassin. I don't think you want to be inside that head.
Yeah.
So look, I could understand this episode, like, not being anything special. I fucking love this dude. This dude's the biggest dingus in the world, and I think he's great. I think he's great the whole time. I think this episode's just a good old run. I just smiled the whole way through.
Mason, you love a good idiot. Why do you hate the show?
I don't hate this show.
He likes
I
everything
think
else
this
better.
show's fine. I just
No,
like
you're
everything
going
else
to top
better. Like, this show is actually really fun, and I do really enjoy Mashimo. I think he's absolutely just complete dumbass that we needed. But
Not,
I just think. Go ahead.
no, you finish first.
I was just gonna say, I just think the 3 shows I have above this show are better than.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes, but counterpoint. Everyone, we have 2 idiots already.
Sure, yeah, I mean, well, that's just Sakamoto's just recruiting idiots. That's how the family.
True.
Listen,
I mean,
lower
I don't think
IQ,
Shin
smaller
is an
risk of
idiot.
them betraying
To,
you.
to quote Sakamoto this episode, Shin goes, "How did someone so dumb survive this long as a hitman?" And Sakamoto goes, "Actually, you would be surprised how many of the top hitmen out there are fucking idiots." And I
Actually
think
makes
that
them survive longer.
I think that line's really funny, especially with
Yeah.
context of people like Nagamo. I think,
And context of people like Boiled,
yeah,
and
I
like
think
other people we've met so far,
fucking rare hunters.
Johnny Pizza or whatever.
Johnny Pizza Man.
Johnny Pizza.
Michael, why do you hate this show?
True.
It just wasn't that big of a. I think Heisuke is fine.
You didn't
I
like.
think the one he's I don't like
You didn't
adore
like
him.
it. You didn't like his bird.
No, the bird's awesome. Birds are great.
Was he too
One,
stupid?
I think I just enjoyed some of the stuff these other shows did, like character moment wise. And also the fact that the thing again, it is just, oh wow, lose an idiot. Why does she have the alcohol today? It doesn't make sense for her to be drunk in this
What do you
moment.
mean? We're having a
What-
day out.
Why is she? The alcohol is her secret family recipe for when she has anxiety.
No, now
Like,
she's
She's
now
not
she's
participating.
now she's just a drunk alcoholic. We have to
It was just one of
this.
it was one thing where I was like, wow, the setup for this getting revealed is this.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well-
yeah, I mean, like the action scenes after are cool. A lot of it is just bullets flying at nothing. And then the 2 of them trying to dodge them. But like, I don't know. I just liked other stuff more. And the big litmus test was how much you enjoyed Heisuke, and I thought he was fine.
What do you mean? Not only does he look like a Hunter x Hunter character, he just is a Hunter x Hunter character. This is the most
Okay.
fucking cut copy paste character I've ever seen.
He straight up just looks like Gon aged up.
Gon, but instead of playing rock paper scissors, he chose to shoot you.
Gon, but somehow less of a psychopath.
Go on, but you switch the O with a U.
Tim.
That was good. That
That's
was
good.
good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Austin, do you have things you want to say about Sakamoto?
I didn't like the Assassin of the Week. I was not a big fan of him, and that kind of pulled me away from.
Oh, I would
enjoying this
imagine.
episode. But also like, if he's the world's greatest sniper, like, he should have hit Shin a couple times. Not that I hate Shin, but he should have hit Shin a couple.
He hit
times.
Sakamoto's ear.
Yeah,
It's-
if he
it's a-
can hit Sakamoto, then he should
should be able to hit
to hit
Shin.
he should be able to hit the guy who's not, a world-class athlete.
I do think a couple times Sakamoto does push Shin out of the way. So I think there's a little bit of like
He's getting boosted.
he's getting
yeah.
covered for. Like there's probably an argument that Sakamoto probably never gets even touched if Shin's not there. Besides
But-
from the Barber Quartet, those guys fucking murk him if Shin's not there. He has no idea they're coming.
Yeah, Barber.
But yeah, in general, like, I was just not a big fan. Of
Yeah,
the
Barber.
week, and that's just and that's the only reason why I like the show a little bit less than I had in previous weeks.
No, totally fair.
Resoundingly, your podcast remains much higher on this show than the anime community does, it seems.
How dare it not be 1-to-1 with the manga panels?
Yeah, like
The manga panel is sick, Michael.
I-
you want to
I-
send
I-
it,
that's
Michael?
That's
I
fine,
can
but
tell.
like,
So like, here's
Yeah,
the funny thing, Michael. and I-
Notably, it is very specifically the shot when they take out the 4 right at the start, or when Heisuke does it. It was this specific shot people were comparing.
Michael and I also
Was
talked
that to
about
the
this.
thing in the show. in
Michael
the
and I
anime.
talked about this personally. We also don't think you can really do this shot in the anime.
Like, it would look really weird if in an anime panel or in like an anime scene, one of the characters is just a different art style and looks completely different than everything else on screen.
mhm.
That would be silly.
It's
Like-
dramatic because
would
that's
be
the
funny
point.
to do
but,
it
like,
anyway.
It doesn't make sense.
You also can't like have a smooth transition from something into this. In the manga, it goes from the 4 of them being shot to hard to flip
Hard
page.
cut.
This is your next panel.
Mhm.
Like even on Viz, that's how it is a full flip to the next page to see this panel pop up.
I just think the show's good. And I think sometimes people need to be okay with things just being good.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be the greatest thing since sliced Jujutsu Kaisen. It can just be a good show.
Yeah, it's just a solid shonen.
Had to get the right seat up. John,
Sean,
it's time.
is it?
Yeah, your show.
Are you sure?
You only got one.
That's true. I do only have one for
Same
now.
with me.
So
we're done after this. No more talking ever.
perfect. I can just play more Fortnite on the side. But so honey lemon soda this week. Oh wait, hang on. Oh, my thing just died. I was trying to pull up my character list. Give me 2 seconds.
Honey, lemon, and soda. Did you guys see we kind of
So-
got the honey this week?
We did
I
did
did.
get a bit of honey this week. I'm trying to remember what happened because I watched it so many days ago, and as I was trying to scroll through the video, the Crunchyroll signed me out, so I apologize. Give me 1
Based.
second.
School
I'm gonna go
festival.
ahead
School
and
festival.
blame Mason. So yes, we have the school festival this week, and I think at the end of the last episode we saw Ishimori decided to volunteer herself.
Yeah.
To which everyone in the class
opened
went,
with it. So.
"Are you sure?" And she went, "Yes." And then they went, "Hey, is she sure, handler?"
This is so rude. This is maybe the rudest these kids have been. And they tried to kill her in episode 3.
So Kai's like, "Listen, she can do whatever she wants." He goes, "Are you sure?" And she's like, "Yes." And he's like, "Yeah, there you have it, guys." And the whole class is like, "All right, fuck it, we ball. What are we doing?" And the class decides on doing a maid cafe. Very classic. To which Ishimori goes all in on and kind of rallies the troops. And this episode's kind of just following Ishimori, like slowly gathering more like people supporting her through her sheer willpower of trying to get stuff done. Like she's riding her bike to go get more materials, and then she like gets stopped by Kai, who helps carry some of them. And then later on, we see her, fall on her bike, and then like some of the girls are there, and they're like, "Hey, we'll actually help you because we see how hard you're trying." And so then they're on the bikes getting stuff, and then they make all the boys carry it while they're carrying like one cardboard box. This boy's got like 17 of them, because classic comedy. Meanwhile, Kai's off on his own, being recruited by like the hot boys and girls video, basically, which is a big smash hit at this school because grades are cringe. And so of course there's Kai's there and Serena and some other guys from other classes that we don't care about. But they basically produced this little video to introduce like some of the characters at this, and they have like little one-line tags that they say during the video. And so Ishimori's working with the class to get this all done. Kai's doing his own thing. And then we have the actual festival itself, where they're running the maid cafe, and they're super popular because, of course, it is, because this is the main character's stuff. And so Ishimori has to help fill in as a maid, and it's very cute. And then she overworks herself, and they're like, "You can take a 5. It's fine."
But
No, but you're keeping the maid outfit on because we need you. We need this.
you'll come
So you're
back.
keeping it on.
You'll come back to work the rest of your shift.
You'll be back to work the shift.
Surely.
Club head or chairman. So she ends up going around and engaging in different activities, and then she finally goes and sees the video of the Hot Boys and Girls Club, as I call it. I forget exactly what it's called, but that's what I'm calling it. In which they all have their cute one-liners, and Serena's like, "I'm gonna steal your hearts," basically, and it's like, "Oh yeah, woo, yay!" And then Kai's like, "Ishimori is mine." What was the exact line he said? I forget.
So they were all "I'll deal with."
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
it's like "I'll deal with something." So he's like, "I'll deal with melting your hearts," and he goes, "I'll deal with Ishimori."
Or all
It's
manage
like,
Ishimori.
bro.
Leave Ishimori to me.
That's what it is.
Yeah,
Leave
that's
to
what he
me.
says. And so it's one of those moments where you're like, "What's he gonna say? What's he gonna do?" And he drops that, and you're like, "Oh."
That's what they
And
were
either-
just saying
So,
nothing.
and here's the thing: there's two things. Either you love that or you hate that. And I love it because it's really funny. It's very cutesy to me.
I like what they're doing
So
with it.
I loved it because we have another scene too where he's talking with is it Tomoya? Who's the one that's constantly like, "Hey Kai, are you gonna are you the black haired boy in the
Yeah.
friend group is like,
Yeah.
hey, is this just gonna be like the one off where you said you don't like her and you're gonna fix her and you're gonna move on because you gotta be careful because she's getting very attached? And he goes, yeah, no, I take that back about not liking her, basically. And then walks away from his buddy.
Fuck off.
He's like, I'm gonna do what I want. We didn't say no take backsies, so I take back that one about not liking her, and then walks away basically. And then the episode closes on the area where they're doing the like bachelor basically. And so they have a bunch of girls that they're interviewing and talking about themselves and stuff. And Serena really doesn't want to do it because, of course, she's going to get picked and she doesn't want all the attention and stuff. And she's interested in Kai and all this other stuff. And so Ishimori volunteers herself because she's trying to be like, oh, Kai should be with Serena still. And so I should try to be more outgoing for myself. And so she's answering the questions and stuff. She goes, man, if this was Serena, I bet Kai would come running. And then Kai immediately in the next scene comes running and goes, no, she abstains. Which I didn't like the end of it personally, like the last bit. The rest of this episode I really loved. I didn't like the last, like, basically the last chapter they put in this manga, right? Or in this story. Because it feels like it's kind of like the segments of like of a manga. I did not like this section where it's like the bachelor stuff because this feels
It's weird.
too
It's like
it feels
it's oddly structured.
it's very high school thing to do in these animes, but it feels super forced to put Ishimori in that situation. Is my distaste for it,
Yeah.
right? It's just drawing more attention to the Kai Ishimori dynamic. I get it, but like, I feel like even her character wouldn't want to do that, even if she wanted to be more outgoing, right?
And you've done such a good job of building up her image this whole episode to then have her cry in front of a bunch of people on open public stairs. It's like, why did we do this?
It's a big
to her?
Kai comes and saves the day part is what I think. Like for me, it's the classic like Kai comes to save Ishimori dynamic that they're going for.
But she
I
was
just
also
don't
kind
think-
of okay. Like
She was doing okay. Like I agree. And like
She
as I said, this is the part where I'm like, okay, I don't like this specific part they put in because I feel like
Yeah.
this one's a bit just like extra schmooze on top you really didn't need because she was doing relatively fine on her own. For once. Like she's working with the other classmates, she's like having a good time, she's being more outgoing. People are starting to get behind her and rally behind her a little more. Like it's like, okay, this is all awesome things. And then we kind of like just drop this and it's like, ew, that was a little yikes on my book. Is how I would say it.
there are
it's
a
yikes from you,
couple
boy.
there are a
So.
couple of things I really like about this episode and a couple of things that are weird to me. That is by far definitely the biggest one. That whole scene is very it's odd.
It's so close to having a great episode too. It's so close.
There's a really weird
what frustrates
visual
me.
thing they do this episode that I think they do it at least 3 times, which is the airplane. And my guess is that
airplane transition.
my guess
Airplane
is
transition.
my guess is that the idea is supposed to be like the idea that when this is all said and done, Kai's gonna leave her, and that's like the imagery they're going. Why the fuck do we use it so much this episode? It's so weird.
They're also
So,
just so
I have-
blatant. It's play.
So I think what is going to be an answer to this, and it kind of leads into what I was going to say. This episode is so fully coolly, I can't even begin to tell you, like, just how it does its weird animations that it hasn't been doing for the past couple of weeks. It's brand new, but it's very, like, Looney Tunes-esque.
Yeah, just random like manga panel, just like insert in and just like face sticking out of like tiny panels and.
It's very fully coolly, and that's also, I believe, a thing in fully coolly the planes. I could be wrong there. I could be talking out my ass, but
It's okay, makes me like your ass.
I know I'm caked up. But they also mention it at one point in the episode. Like someone makes an offhand comment about fully coolly. It's towards the end.
I didn't catch that. There is a Urasa Yatsura gag this episode too.
Yeah, this whole episode is very like classic anime gag.
Yeah. The Urasa Yatsura bit I thought was neat. I thought it was really cool to do. Complete opposite direction of random planes flying in the sky. I really like the multiple image use of her riding the bike. I thought this was really cool. She can't stop the first time because of Kai. well, she stops the first time because of Kai. She fucks up and fucking beats it the second time because Kai's not there. By the time she has the rest of the people riding with her, she's the person who has no problem just fucking flowing with it because she's gotten used to it. That's really incredible use of just using the same scene over and over again to get your
Show
point
character
across.
growth and
Exactly.
show-
I thought that was
She's
really
riding
cool.
the vibe.
I also
Dude, someone said that too, and that was
Yes.
so funny.
Yeah,
No, she's
I-
riding the
She
vibe.
goes, "Oh my god, she rode the vibe."
That's my Ishimori. Let's go.
I also just really like the direction the show takes her dynamic with the class. I think it all makes sense. It's all really cool. It's great moments for her. Like, you get to really watch her grow. Like, the fact that, like, I like having Kai be like, they fucking bailed on you? And she's like, yeah. And then you cut to them, and they're like, man, we kind of bailed on her, didn't we? And, like, they're starting to feel bad, and the other girls are like, yeah, fuck you guys, by the way, for getting the maid cafe. And they go, what? And they're like, yeah, everybody wanted it. And they go, oh, fuck.
Should we actually
Oh,
have to like
shit. She's kind of fucking smurfing out there. Okay. Now why they have to get so many goddamn boxes, I don't know, but they sure do.
Decorations were fucking banging, dude.
And I give this show credit for going, okay, maid cafe, put the main character in a maid outfit, but we need to keep her in the maid outfit. So we're gonna imply she's gonna come back to the maid outfit, the maid cafe to work, and she's never gonna. But we're gonna keep her in that maid outfit. And I think that's really
She
funny.
might come back after this.
I think it.
never know.
No, I don't believe it. I think it's a good bit though. And we didn't talk about it, but I also do like. I mean, the problem is I think we've gotten this scene too many times now for me, where I can't be too up on it. But having Kai be like, okay, dragging you out of the storage room by your hand to show people that, you know, they
I
can't
thought that
talk.
was a little
They
cute.
can't. It is cute, but it's like you can
I
only
like that
you
one.
can only do the I'm gonna show off in front of other people things to shut them up so many times with this boy before I get
Hard disagree. It's cute every time.
see. And this is why the show is for you, John.
Listen, I'm a simp for simple things in romance, and sometimes I just like a good like classic, just like good
I might
bad
have
boy,
to-
good boy, do good boy things.
Hold on, I might have to change the name of this episode to Leave Ishimori to Me, and then I might have to go edit the thumbnail to be Ishimori's face on Jiren's body.
Holy shit.
So I think that the first like 2/3 of the episode, like, you know, up until the point where they have to do the bachelor bullshit, I think I would have liked to see that be a little bit longer.
Yeah.
I felt it was like just very rushed for like how much they're supposed to be using that to try to help her grow, and I would have liked to see like much more of that actually happening. And then like all of that to set up, okay, Ishimori is going to be, and then like the resolution of like, oh, Ishimori is like, you know, she's being the boss ass bitch with like doing all this committee work.
My goat.
She's kicking ass in a maid outfit, and then she gets damsel in distress saved again by Kai at the end of the episode. Yep, we're back. We went nowhere.
We're already building a new, like a more interesting new conflict, which is the idea of, okay, I get to be the person I want to be. Do I have to lose Kai because of it?
Mhm.
Again, I cannot stress to you enough, though, and only Michael truly understands this right now, that I cannot watch this show and not help but think in the back of my head, I've already seen this entire plot in Cardfight Vanguard. These planes are actually here to indicate that they're gonna go to the moon.
Picture this. You are standing on the surface of the planet Crane.
Michael.
Okay, what am I picturing, Mason?
No, that's it. Michael.
You're on the surface of the planet Cray. Yeah, this episode's good. I mean, yeah, outside of the very clear whatever the fuck the last scene was, that was certifiably one of the scenes of all time. I think the rest was really good. Like, I really like the way they're building up her kind of rep within the class. People are just going, which is actually kind of chill though.
She goes Super Saiyan 2 this episode.
Yeah, she does
Yeah.
do that.
She
does go
literally
Super
leaves
Saiyan.
Jiren to her.
Boss ass bitch, baby.
But yeah, so realistically, like a lot of good stuff happened, and then actually feels like absolute complete turnaround the last
Do-
scene. It's like, huh?
Do we end on the bachelor thing, or do we end on the scene with Kai and his buddy, where he walks away? Because my brain remembered it being that we end on the scene where he walks away from his buddy.
It's the walk away from the buddy.
Okay.
Yeah, I
because
want to say
do
he jumps
think
on for the bachelor thing, and then we cut.
we
to
cut away weirdly
what was in the
from it.
past. I want to say because I
Maybe.
want to say
Ooh,
I want to say we
true.
get the start of them talking earlier, then it finishes at the
Ooh,
end.
you might be right.
Something like that.
Sounds correct.
Because for what it's
Because I want
worth,
to say they do start talking earlier in the episode, but I also might be completely wrong.
for what it's worth, much better way to end the episode is with that scene. Because I do like getting the hard commitment out of Kai. I think that's really important at this point in the show. To know where, at least where he lies, as opposed to not knowing the fuck at all. Also, damn, she buys a lemon soda and just fucking leaves it. It just goes and just gets left in that room.
She got busy.
The honey
They
this
have a
episode.
lot of
Sure
types of
do.
pancakes.
Yeah, they do. The honey this episode is in the
How many
thing-
of the pancakes?
the hot guys and girls bit. They have a thing on the thing that when they're showing this is honey in the corner. There you go. We found
Honey.
it. I
Also,
really,
Ishimori is like kind of like the greatest artist to ever exist. For
yeah,
some
she
reason.
fucking smurfs it on that deer.
And I quote, I didn't have
Yeah.
many friends, so I drew a lot. Which honestly,
We love her.
fair.
Real.
Also, could you
Real.
imagine the actual? She got really lucky. Her parents went, actually, we can't come to your school festival. Not once did she go, thank fucking Christ you didn't see me in a maid uniform. They would have lost their shit. I also do really appreciate the idea of, okay, guys, we have to cut down on the budget for this maid cafe. What are we gonna do? Cut the cloth. I mean, shorten the maid outfits a little bit. It's the girls going, we can survive with slightly shorter maid outfits, guys. Come on now. Least fan service maid outfit episode I've ever seen anywhere.
Actually, yes.
Yeah.
What the fucking...
The
Why
fuck, Michael.
Play over her fucking face. It's like
Is that the
Yeah.
actual still frame?
It is.
That's
Yeah, no,
crazy.
this is it. This is a screenshot. This is right at the end of the like bachelor scene is where he goes okay, you do your thing. I'll watch you do it the whole time. As like piano starts playing and then a fucking plane sound starts as a plane flies across the screen to transition to them standing in
think-
open space. They're standing in the fucking like world between from Kingdom Hearts or whatever.
Do you
Just
think-
vibing.
Don't want to talk about
Do you-
that.
Do you think they just have a wheel they spin every week when they were doing production on the show where it's like, what's our transition gonna be? And they spun plane this one and we just haven't realized it. We haven't realized it for the past 5 episodes, but there's been something like this every week, and this is the only one that's stuck out enough for us to go, why the fuck are there planes?
or they just didn't notice that they'd already there's like
Yeah.
3 separate parties. They just happened to all spin the same one.
Next week is Hellfire, just erupts every transition scene.
It's also just really funny. They start talking, and then you hear like a tiny bit of the like you start like hearing the plane sound rev up. It's like, what? Why is there a plane on the screen?
Hey, Michael. Medalist.
Medalist.
Oh boy.
It's a slower episode for Medalist. Because realistically, in terms of like time frame, this takes a whole the entire episode takes like 10 hours in world.
Yeah, and it still
because-
finds a way to gouge my heart out.
Yep.
Thanks, Medalist.
Okay, so this episode, this is flashback episode. Because the mangaka when they were writing this probably went, wait a second, we've like mentioned Tsukasa's backstory like a few times. We've shown like little glimpses and bits of it. Now let's like actually give him a backstory. And as the show has been building up so far, no person allowed to have even a vaguely nice backstory. They have to be the most heart-wrenching bullshit ever, every single time.
No happy allowed. None of that.
So we learn Tsukasa is like one of a shit ton of siblings. And also his parents didn't have enough money nearly to support the amount of siblings he had. And also he started skating not at 10, not at 11, but at 14.
Really
he
good
was a
age
little
to get
old to
into
be started.
sports. Notoriously
Really
great
good
age for
to get into
sports.
super expensive, very difficult to get into sport.
So like his whole like we do so the whole setup for this is like they're just kind of sitting outside Tsukasa and Inori, and Inori goes, hey, I want to ask you something. As Tsukasa goes, hey, I want to say something, because they're both dinguses. And then
rock, paper,
they play
scissors.
rock paper scissors. Tsukasa wins and says, okay, Inori, go first, because he's based.
After
And
they
she
die
goes,
like twice.
she goes like, so when did you start skating? And that's where this all comes from. So we learn as we so the reason he wants to start skating, much kind of like how Inori has don't remember her name. I should have the character names up because she isn't in this episode. I forgot her name.
Haruka?
The queen of B class, yeah, Haruka. Yeah, like Inori kind of has that as like her thing to be like that's what she saw. She's like, damn, I really want to skate because she's awesome. Tsukasa has the
Jun.
Haruka's coach.
Hot boy.
Actually, him like that was the guy. He was like, oh, he saw he was like, damn, that's like a really good skater. I want to skating's kind of awesome.
Sorry, Hikaru.
Karu,
And his
but
name is Jun.
yeah, June.
His name is
Junior
John
Barker.
Cena.
Yeah. So we learned he started from that, which is why he started so late. It was the age of 14 because he's like he was kind of just vibing up to that point. He was existing. I learned, yeah, his parents didn't have a lot of money for him to skate, so he had to kind of pay for his own skating shit. And skating's fucking expensive.
Sports are
So-
fucking expensive. Period.
Yeah. And also he's having a real hard time getting like a coach to teach him because why would they teach this fucking 14-year-old instead of teaching some like young 8-year-old that they could like actually train to be an Olympian because he's like already past his prime. He's old.
He's ancient.
He's a fucking grandpa. The age of 14. So then he starts like going through all this and he ends up bumping into this woman who asks him for a phone charger. I don't know if this is intentional that her first name is Mako. I assume that's supposed to be like an important thing. Maybe it's not. Maybe that just all happens that the Mako Cup and her name being Mako are two incidental things. Could be a coinky dink. Anyway.
Probably it's just coincidence. I think you're losing it.
So yes, we meet this woman named Mako. And her husband and her daughter are the goats. The entire family is the goat. This family, awesome. They kind of take Tsukasa in as another son. They give him a job, like a part-time job at the where the husband like works / owns. And then he eventually like stops doing that and stops skating for a little bit. Then he goes, I want to skate again. And this is when he ends up meeting don't remember her name. The person he's currently working with. The person he told me. And also then at that was like when he like paired up with her for the ice dancing.
Well, he ran like back into Mako, and they took him in again, and then gave him the job so he could skate, and then he started doing the ice dancing.
Well, no, so he like runs into Itomi, then like then he starts like working as like a maid for them essentially, like doing housework. With the condition that he needs to keep skating. And then Mako dies.
Well, he places fourth in the competition, so he doesn't place top 3.
Yeah, then all Japan happens. He places fourth, and then Mako dies. Ouch. And then he stops wanting to skate again because that's kind of like a harsh memory. Those two things are intertwined in his head.
His biggest thing is he felt like he let her down because like he promised her to get top 3, and then she literally died right after he got back, basically, or like it was in the process of passing away as he was doing that.
Yeah. And then he essentially goes, yeah, and then and then like 2 months later, here we are.
I do really like that when he's telling this story to Inori, he's like, I didn't place top 3. And stuff happened.
And then I stopped working for them.
He's just he's like, and then I left the family.
This episode also opens with us seeing what is seemingly two random people watching him skating, going, "Hey, is that Tsukasa?" We then learn Itari's backstory. Oh, that is the husband and daughter. That is, I don't remember the guy's name, but it's Yo is the child because her name pops up like 15 times on his phone.
Hey yo,
Also, it's a
hey.
silly
yo.
name.
So here's the question. Is that her name or is that her dad's name, given the fact that she might be using his phone to text him?
I don't know. Maybe it's her own. Maybe it's her own phone. Children these days, you know.
Because I actually think that his
Children
name
these
is Yo.
days, you know.
But yeah, so we essentially they kind of run into him here. They go, hey, so you started skating again. Why
Oh,
didn't
no,
you
you're right,
tell us?
Michael. It is her name. Yep, you're right.
It's like why didn't you tell us you were skating again? You could like live here. And he goes, I don't want to be a burden on your family. I'm just some random dude. That's like
I'm not like your son or
really
anything.
fucking weird for me to. I don't want to be a leech. And they go, so the thing you're doing right now with this girl, that's essentially what Mako did with you. She really wanted to see you succeed. She pushed her absolute hardest to see you succeed here. And we see like Tsukasa is the thing we had like been vaguely mentioned before. But he also has a second job where he works as a crossing guard at like 1 a.m.
See, I couldn't tell if that was a flashback or not.
Well, no, because he gets because he eats the box of sushi that he gets that night from them.
Yeah.
That's like kind of your tell that has to happen in sequence is that he gets the box. Well, yeah, they go to like rotator sushi. They're kind of talking, and he's like, "Damn, this shit too rich for my blood," as he is living off of being a crossing guard.
Well, it's like working as like a public servant, basically.
Yeah. Then then we get to like the end of all this this backstory stuff, and Inori goes, damn, that shit kind of heavy. Anyway, what was the thing you were gonna say? And he goes, oh yeah, you just won, let's celebrate. They go to do their little celebration worth 5 DOE points or whatever it is. And as this happens, Inori humbles up in the car and they go, weird. Anyway, because they're like squatting to do jumps. So I assume the bit is like, oh yeah, jumps would get them extra points. That's like the joke here. They gotta jump around.
I thought it was just like a little yippee.
But I want to say that's like the joke with like the 5 points is that it'd be worth 5 points because they're jumping.
Oh, okay.
But then yes, wait, this happens before we see him do crossing guard stuff, but like whatever. Then it's tomorrow. Hitomi and Inori are talking. And we kind of get like the end of their conversation where they're like, so wait, you've been coming here for that long? And Inori goes, yeah, but like skating's expensive. So like what I did was he was like, I could, the owner of the rink was like, I can cut you a deal. You give me some worms for the birds. And she went, bet. Worms.
They're like, oh fuck, we were calling him Worm Guy for a while. Fuck.
Worms.
Bad about it.
Then Tsukasa shows up, and then they're like,
celebration.
And then Tsukasa goes, anyway, to continue our celebration from last night. Then they have their little celebration. And he told me, he's like, you two are insane. You are both dinguses.
But you're dinguses together.
God, Zep's so fucking good.
Also, started this episode, they established that Inori is going to go for the next level exam and then immediately compete in the next competition because she will just barely be able to fit that in schedule.
Because she's gonna smirk.
Yeah.
But I like that they talk about it in a way where he's like, "Yes, you're gonna do this," and they're both like, "If I don't win, it's fine, but I should at least be trying, like to take every chance I can to keep moving forward." Yeah, it's really nice. For reference, Michael, Mako for Mako Cup and her name are spelled different. There's an H at the end for the cup, so it is probably irrelevant.
At the end for the cup.
Yeah.
It's just really funny how
it is
like,
a little.
have them next to each other.
I did not think about it until you said it. I fucking adore this episode. I have no additional things to say besides, why did you do this to me, Medalist? Why?
Yeah.
It's good.
They're having a tragic backstory off right now, and it's fine. The only reason it's like lower than me is because this episode kind of just is more of the same, and it's a slow building episode,
Fair.
right? Where it's like, okay, we're celebrating the previous victories and getting more lore, and then we're making plans for the next stuff. But for me, it's still a matter of like, okay, what are we gonna do next to like modify this program? Because it doesn't seem like there's a ton of time to like have it all together, I guess, if that makes sense, between like going up to a like level 2 like performance while also like, you know, like creating more like interest in like her progress, and that like it's not just like her just magically smurfing up to level 2 basically. And I get that it's like a bit of, hey, she's good enough for this, it's just a matter of her being allowed to basically compete at that level
Yeah.
that's holding her back.
I don't know enough
Um,
about skating, so I have no
I don't
fucking
either,
idea.
but,
So
like,
I'm excited.
I did marching band, that's my extent to this, but that's why I'm like
Yup.
curious as to like what the transition here is, if that makes sense. Again,
I
and
can't wait
I
to
think
like,
it
get an
shows good.
explanation of how ice dancing is different than figure skating, because like I know they're different.
But tell
I
me,
just can't wait
How?
till we get more into that.
Fucking clue.
mm-hmm.
One of them you kill people. You try to kill people over. That's what I know.
Oh, is this a
What is-
Uranize
what is
reference or something?
No, this is more Tanya Harding. We're gonna bring her up every
Oh,
week we
okay.
can in relation to Medalist.
See,
So
my
what
until,
is-
brain, my
until
brain is
you
like,
go until you go and look up who Tanya Harding is, so you can know,
I know who
this.
Tanya Harding is.
I was
I
gonna
used
say
to watch
so you can know this. Did you watch
some of those like small the like true TV shows
yeah, the
that she
True
was
TV.
always
Oh, yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
where that was her character, was that she tried to commit horrible violent acts against people on the ice.
No, she just paid someone to do it.
True.
You can't prove that.
Ah,
Allegedly,
Literally
allegedly.
can't.
Allegedly, hypothetically. But no, I think Medalist is good. I just like Sakamoto's overall like stuff a little bit more this week, and that's why it's higher for me. But Medalist is literally 2, so
I mean, you weren't getting anything above Medalist from me this week. To me, this is like in my mind, there's a very fine line on this selection of shows for the podcast, and nothing is pushing Medalist out of that yet. Like, there's a huge level of difference in shows where like something really needs to step its game up, and Medalist needs to have like a bad week for me to like even shift remotely on this. But that's just me.
no, sure.
Fair.
This is one of those seasons where I'm not gonna where it's gonna be really hard for me to be like, yeah, but that show had a really good episode this week. It should go at #1, and I'm gonna go, but does it deserve it? Did it earn it? Has it
But
been?
did it get a medal?
Has it been a medalist? I don't know.
Also, I'm looking at it just now. Apparently, she did attack her then boyfriend in 2000. So I was wrong. She did.
No, I was gonna say I was pretty sure we got proof of it.
We have proof.
So a completely separate thing. This is not the Nancy Kerrigan issue.
Ah, okay. So we have some proof, but not for what we wanted.
Yeah, on February 22, 2000, Harding attacked her then boyfriend Darren Silver, repeatedly punching him in the face and throwing a hubcap at his head.
Damn.
Okay.
That sounds like her.
Yeah, but like, nope. Don't say something political on the podcast, John. Don't do it.
Other thoughts about Medalist?
Medal is good.
Metal's good.
That's my thought.
Show
That's
fucking
the
good.
thought I had.
Show
Medal's good. Yep.
Hey, Austin.
Yep.
Elf.
This one will be very quick. So they talk about what they're going to do in the labyrinth in the other world while the dragon eavesdrops on them while her babies are hatching. And then they go back to Japan. They go back to Japan where he has to work because he is unfortunately still on salary but she makes lunch for herself. She's very proud of it, and she thinks it's very yummy. But he's like, "Damn, I'm not strong enough to protect her. What the fuck do we do about this labyrinth? I need to use this time to think about how we're going to tackle this because I look like a child in the other world, and I don't think anyone's gonna take us seriously."
He then proceeds to not use this time to think about what they're gonna do in the labyrinth.
Yeah, and then instead of thinking about what they're gonna do in the labyrinth, they go have a French meal with the librarian girl and the librarian girl's husband, and they just have a long meal of, oh man, she's really cute when she eats. That is the entire episode.
And it was adorable.
It was fine.
It was fine.
Am I about to say that it bothers me? And I know it's technically not
No.
wrong, but it bothers me that she goes, he says to use the oven, and then puts it in a microwave.
Right.
Yep.
I know it's a
Yep.
microwave oven. I know. I understand.
Semantics.
And it seems
Maybe
like
it is a toaster and it just looks really weird.
No.
It's a really weird toaster oven.
Uh,
You
really
don't
interesting
understand,
toaster
Sean. In
It's
an
a-
Asian
a
household,
really powerful oven.
in an Asian households, the oven is used for storage. The microwave oven
True.
is the oven.
And you know, and for what it's worth, this makes way more sense because I was like, you're gonna let her use an oven when you're not home? This is a problem.
That
and
sounds like
then-
a dangerous idea.
But then
She's
it's a
gonna burn the house
microwave,
down.
and it's fine.
But also, there's no way she put that shit in the microwave for 45 fucking minutes.
Right.
So with nothing
Man.
over it.
That
Yeah,
chicken's
that-
still raw.
At best, that is going to be the driest fucking chicken ever.
And raw still. Think of the
Yeah.
salmonella.
Look, man, he's fucking crazy with it. I don't know what he did to it beforehand, but
What do you mean he marinated yogurt and garam masala? And some other things,
Fucking
apparently.
goddamn it, Sean or Michael.
No, was this episode good? No, not particularly. But, like, I had a great time watching them exist.
this is a food show. I fully believe that you cannot convince me otherwise.
Well,
It's
yeah,
just-
the ED makes that very clear, where it starts with the word "so delicious."
this is
the
actually
show
this
is
is actually one
fire.
of the few shows and mangas that has the gourmet tag on it.
That's
Add it
great.
to the
They
month.
also they have this really dumb setup that happened because Kazuhiro's an idiot, and when he saw this girl in the library and went, "Oh yeah, she's a relative." So anytime she does anything outside of the scope of being a relative, because she doesn't know what the fuck he said, the girl listening goes, "You two are fucking weird." To the point of the husband going, "Oh, so you're dating, huh?" Kazuhiro explodes. Kazuhiro's doing some shit this episode.
I kind of really like the idea that his wife probably told them they were relatives, and the husband still went, "So you're dating?"
Yeah.
And his wife's like, "What the fuck's wrong with you?" He's like, "I think I'm right."
Have you seen these two interact?
There was also a part where he's just like, "Hey, listen, sorry my dumb bitch wife made you come out to dinner with us," basically. like,
This man talking about his wife is
I know
crazy.
it's not what he said, but like that's what the vibes were, right? Am I wrong?
Don't let the fact that
Like,
I also want to point out that to do this meetup, at which they live in the same apartment complex, they first go to a secondary location to get coffee, and then meet up to then go to the actual dinner location, which is a
which is
crazy
by the way,
thing to do.
which is by the way, a dinner location with like a full 5-course meal. Like,
Actual full
Yeah.
French.
honestly, based by them, great
Yeah.
hosts.
And they do let her keep the beanie on. Respectful. Crazy.
Wild.
Not in Gordon's restaurant.
Right?
And that's right, I'm on first name basis with him. I mean, I stand by my previous statements of shows that I'm dying to see what happens every week. This is certainly on the lower end of them, especially because I know I'm gonna get the exact opposite of what. On one hand, I do know I'm gonna get the exact opposite of what I got last week. But it also means that nothing that I get last week matters at all for anything I'm gonna get this week. So it's like,
Yeah.
Was this-
Yeah.
is this dynamic between these friends neat and cool? And like, am I actually kind of interested for them to go visit his family in Japan? Yeah, I think I'll get that in 7 episodes, maybe, if
think I'll get
even
that in the
this
manga.
season. Yeah, it's probably in the
Absolutely
manga.
crazy. The setup of whenever I get another long vacation. Oh, that's just never happening, huh?
What are we gonna do? Have 2 time skips? We're gonna have to.
Time
Yeah,
out. He's in
yeah, 'cause-
Japan.
'cause- yeah.
Long vacations don't exist.
Because next episode's gonna be them dealing with the labyrinth stuff. The
Which
episode
who
after that's
fucking
gonna
knows
be,
how
gonna
they're
be
doing
Marie
that?
and Ichijoji or whatever her name is.
Hey.
Hanging out and her
Watching
probably
anime.
finding out she has elf ears.
Yeah.
Because she's gonna be an idiot. Then they go back to the fantasy world. Then they gotta have another day because they obviously can't immediately then be going into his long weekend because it's only been 4 days since the show started. Because we've been going day by day. There hasn't been like maybe.
Yeah.
Oh no. I think have we hit
No, we had a few days. Like we skipped like a month in.
like
yeah.
the show's so silly.
It's very silly. It's fun. It's fine. Like it's nothing groundbreaking. It's nothing that's like captivating to me, but it is just a good time, and it's like I don't mind watching it. It's kind of how I am with the show right now, right?
And Marie's outfit's adorable.
She's adorable. I love her. She must be protected at all costs in this show.
Mhm.
That is a primary concern for me.
I will say her husband this episode was like an absolute star of this episode.
Yeah,
Every
he's great.
time they
Husband's kinda
spoke,
goated.
I was like,
My
damn.
damn wife inviting us out. Sorry
Yeah,
about
and my
this
wife
one.
probably forced you to comment to twist your arm. I'm like, damn.
Sorry
She
about this
actually
one,
didn't. She actually
brother.
just asked, "Do you want to go out to dinner?"
Also,
Because I would have talked to Mary Bell about the picture book.
also a little unfair of her to elbow him in the side for blushing at her introduction to them when she also blushes at the exact same fucking thing.
Right.
Double
Yeah, but
standard. Get destroyed, husband.
See, that's why. Listen, guys. Listen. Quick aside. This is why you have to date
Men-
someone who's bi. Is because you'll both be
True.
interested in the hot chick that walks
True.
by.
True,
Problem solved.
True, but also men, you're not allowed to be happy. Mason, your show.
So Tasokare
You heard me. Moving on.
So Tasokare Hotel this week. We have 2 guests. We got an old man with a face that's a record player, and we got a young boy whose face is a rocket ship. Atari helps the young man because the little boy comes in with a cat, but the cat doesn't want to touch him, so Neko takes care of the cat. Old man, Atari immediately clocks who he is because it's an old like idol of his that was in the jazz world. Turns out also, we're getting an Atari episode this week. Turns out he went to America to study jazz, specifically the saxophone, but he didn't have any passion for it, so he went back home.
Hey kids, you love jazz.
You like jazz? During this time, we get little bits of Neko dealing with the kid. The kid runs into the bar, sees Osoto, and immediately feels off, and this cat hisses at him. Neko tells him to fuck off, and then leaves. The old man, after searching around a bit, he figures out pretty quickly that he is something Ogawa. I believe it's Takeru or something like that.
I think it's Takashi. It's Takashi.
Takashi. Yeah.
When in
Takashi.
doubt, add a she.
And he's listening to a song he recorded, and he goes, "Yeah, I was playing this song at my last concert. I remember it because I was getting so into it, I literally did not notice that I had died on stage." He was so into the music. Just
It's
took
okay
him.
when that happens.
Meanwhile, little boy's death, way more sad and kind of fucked up. So this boy found this cat, but he had asthma. So his mom didn't let him take the cat home. She didn't want him to flare up his asthma. And he doesn't like that, so he runs away. He runs to the park. And climbs up and says, "Hey, Mi-chan," the cat that he's taking care of, that is basically almost dead from being in the rain. He goes, "Hey, I'm going to take care of you. It's going to be okay. Why can't I breathe?" And then he falls off the slide and cracks. He's going to be okay, though. He's alive.
Totally.
Cat, not so much. But that's okay. Kid realized that he loves his mom. Doesn't hate his mom for caring. I think that's about all that really happens this episode.
I mean, then you get Ogawa's send off with the cat.
Oh yeah, he plays the saxophone real good, and then the cat walks into the delight of heaven with him. Hey, pass on.
The cat goes to heaven.
And
That scene got me.
and then
Cats
Ot-
do
It
not.
was really good.
And then
Cats
so
don't
wait-
go to heaven.
and then
That's so
Ot-
non-believable,
And then
bro.
Autry gets his saxophone.
Yeah.
Man.
And
New
Audrey
key
is
item unlocked.
literally,
End of chapter memento. Instead of panties, have a saxophone.
literally.
I really like this episode.
I also really like this episode. I know there's three of us who do and two of us who
I
don't.
love the switch up they have with the kid where he gets in there, he goes, my mom's Neko goes, so about your mom, and he goes, my mom's a bully, and you go, oh, that's not good. I don't like that.
Yeah.
Because and then it slowly builds it up through him talking. He goes, oh yeah, my mom was so nice, she does this thing. It's like just like my mom's cooking. You should try my mom's omelet, talking like Mr. Ogawa, and you go, he's like piece together. You're like, either his mom's like really abusive to a point of this being Stockholm syndrome, essentially, or she's actually not and he's just being a kid.
Or
And that
she's
was like a
dead.
bad jumble of memories.
You know what, John? True. She could have been
Yeah.
dead. That's also possible. Or he's got two moms. That's right. You didn't see that one coming.
If that one hit me, that would have been a crazy way to pull it.
A child and their parent dies in a car accident, and the doctor cannot operate.
I
Two
also like how,
moms.
I
how Anthony
fucking
walks
love
in.
that fucking channel, Sean.
Yeah.
The Heartbreak
Yeah.
Hotel.
I like when Anthony walks into Ogawa's room and he sees like the cover of the one record and he immediately recognizes it, and the way he like connects it, it's him, is one, he goes, oh, I like this guy's like general way he acts, and also his name was missing from the record
And his face.
and his face.
Yep.
And it's like a that and it's I was like, that's him. I was like, that's how Audrey's gonna know this. And it's also like,
and then
it's a good
and then Audrey dissociates for a whole episode.
Yeah.
He's gone. There's also this bit they
Audrey
mentioned.
hitting us with the he's like, yeah, he had like had heart trouble for the past few years, which means he's probably gonna be dead here. And
Yeah.
Audrey's fucking broken up about that.
It's also kind of implied by Ogawa that he stayed at a hotel that Audrey worked at, and he saved his life at one point in
Oh
time.
yeah.
Like they just
Uh,
throw that out there real
Yeah.
quick.
They do the thank you, Audrey. It's like, wait, what? Huh? What?
I really like this episode largely because I like these two characters interacting with each other. I really like the elderly musician man who just has a good heart, seeing a kid with his hat. Okay, not literally.
No,
I meant
literally.
I meant like musically.
I know. I'm
Um,
sorry. It's just it was
yeah.
right there, man.
I mean, this plays into the next bit really well, which is I can't believe he fucking took a kid to the piano and said, "What's the first song we're gonna play? Step on the Cat." What the fuck, dude? His cat's right there. I don't know. It's a very simple episode. I get that not a lot happens. It moves a little bit of stuff for Audrey, which is like, that's probably good at this point. You should be moving something. And like the central cast with how we've been moving. I don't know. I really like their dynamic. I thought this was a nice and really cute, and I thought the themes were very good for the episode.
I will say, I find it very funny, the very clear
God.
split of people who play like of the people on this podcast who play like detective visual novel games routinely, and the ones who don't.
I feel targeted by that sentence, Mason.
You should. You're
Correct.
one of the people that don't. I've been in a call with these two playing Danganronpa and Zero Escape for months,
Oh, I know.
years actually.
For centuries, one
Not-
might say.
Not lately. We gotta fix that.
Not lately, but we certainly did play DR2 like a year and a half ago now.
Well, see, the real problem was that we took a break in between for you to play UDG and ZTD.
Yeah.
And you also played AI in the in-between.
I did play not all of the first AI. I'm very close to finishing it. But
You guys should finish that.
Look, it's complicated.
look, I've got a bunch of other games I'm playing.
That's fair. But that game's awesome.
But
True.
other thoughts about TASOKARE.
I feel like the stakes, the kind of dipping back down, like just we getting to like kind of like a split episode with like the saxophonist and the kid. After all of the shit that happened in the past 2 episodes was just like a step back, and I just wish that they had continued on a little more with all of the stuff that they were like building up in the last 2 episodes, and us getting like and us moving back to this kind of like a like 2 1-off in stories in an episode rather than even dedicating a whole episode to like both of them or stretching it out over 2 episodes. Maybe just really not enjoy the episode like that much, and it's like, oh, we're back to this again, I guess.
See, the reason I wasn't the biggest fan of it is, pretty similar to Austin, where it's like it just felt kind of with this week for me. And I was talking with Austin about this too, because there was a point I forgot to bring up last week, that irked me a bit, and that like the rules feel kind of inconsistent with some of the hotel at times, because and I know this is like backtracking a bit, but I didn't think of it at the time, and then as I was like watching this week, I was like, huh. Now that I think about it, last week when we had the 2 girls who were at odds, right? And Adori poking one to try to kill the other one. And then when the second girl committed seppuku, the first girl went to hell. Feels really off, because the logic states, okay, you attempted to kill them, but you didn't. And the rules say, basically, as long as you don't kill somebody, you're not at fault. But Atri also pushed her to that, so technically he should be at fault for that murder the same way that she is for committing seppuku, in the sense that like neither of them actually killed the person, but maybe they both should go to hell instead of just the one who was actively trying to, like, that. The logic is kind of like a little mixed for me there. And then this week, like Austin was saying, it didn't like do much for me in terms of watching this week, if that makes sense. But
Like you could have you could have slotted this like in episode in place of episode 4, and then moved episode 4 and 5 like forward. Just not.
do you guys have any more thoughts on Tasukare Hotel?
But my only like thing with this show, like when I think about like when I got to the end of this episode, I was in there like this show has a weird pacing thing, because it is trying to probably tell a like 20 to 30 hour visual novel in much shorter than that amount of time. So they are definitely blitzing some of these segments. Like these are probably, I mean, I imagine this probably is a 2 people show up at the same time segment in the game. But this show's biggest issue is how fast it gets through some stuff, so you don't really get a ton of time to kind of exist with these characters. So you kind of have to immediately get connected. If you don't like immediately like vibe with them, it's kind of just like, oh, and they're gone.
Mm-hmm.
But also, again, I never played the game. No idea how this game's paced. So I can also understand that this show certainly right now has a very strange formula where it's like a character shows up, learn thing about them, new characters.
Yeah, I just really like this week's episode, so I find it really hard to be like, I want it gone. Like that's my
Yeah.
problem. It's like
No,
I
for sure.
really liked this week, and it hasn't, and I thought it's been pretty good consistently. The problem is I also don't I told Michael, this is like the first week I woke up to watch anime and went, oh, thank God I don't have to watch X. And the answer to fill in the blank there was everything we voted off so far. Where like this week it's like I actually don't really mind any of her shows that much. Like I would gladly probably watch another week for sure.
But and
But
also the
something's
same,
gotta
I'm like
go.
not too broken up with things getting voted off, right?
Yeah. Like there's and that's where the line is. It's like, how much do I care about X going off? And if I insert that name and I have like at least a reaction, it probably should
Unio, what are you
vote it.
doing
But
on here?
I mean, I feel the way I do. I have one thing that I'm like, I think I'm good on it, and I'm I'm fine not necessarily having to watch the next week. Everything else I'll give another week at least. Voting is up.
I have already finished.
Michael's still working on his name,
Austin will appreciate my name.
Absolutely still working on my name.
which is crazy because that means I do know which one was Mason's and I thought it was Michael's. Because I guess now I have to go do that too. I did not realize that was out.
Yes, it is.
I don't know
Or
what they're talking about.
Did we get
the 100 line, the 100 line demo's out.
Oh,
The 100
Yeah.
girls who really like you.
the whole game.
Yeah,
Oh,
but I
really?
don't.
No,
I don't really care about baseball.
yeah,
Danganronpa.
yeah.
Baseball.
I got
Yeah,
enough
sh-
baseball
shitty
Danganronpa
action
in
game
VR1.
with dialogue
I
baseball.
like baseball.
Look, I'm afraid I'm gonna open that game and its sound mixing is gonna be bad because that's how the anime was. Traumatized.
True.
No, but that's the thing. I played, I think, most of the demo for that game.
It's
There
always-
were zero connections to the anime.
Yeah, and
Actually, two completely different things outside of they are playing extreme baseball.
its OST probably slaps actually, because it's a fucking Tokyo Games game.
Like, I did not recognize a single character from what I remembered in the anime to what was happening in the game. It was certainly interesting. I think I'll pick that one.
The big
Yeah, you cooked on that one, Michael.
Michael had the
We have no slaves.
That was me determining whether to kill or save Unio.
Good. It is the most important question and the trickiest. We have full saves on Crush at Work, ZENSHU, Sakamoto Days, Medalist. Unfortunately, we have one slay or one kill on Unio. We aren't nice to him. We actually just flat kill him. There is a fancy language here. And one slay on Flower and Asura. We have 2 slays on Honey Lemon Soda and TASOKARE, and we have 5 slays on Welcome to Japan, Miss Elf. So that'll do it.
Jeez.
Hey man,
I'll be honest, I didn't expect 5 on that show.
I don't know if
Is
you
it
voted
not
it.
everyone's number 8?
No, it's
No.
not. It's not.
No.
But I
That's
mean,
crazy.
it's
It was my
equal-
number 6, but I also
Number
shot
7, but
I
like
also shot 3 shows this week.
Yeah,
so.
Austin did shoot his entire bottom section, which is fair. It do be like that sometimes.
Look, I'm a hater through and through.
I never even
Next
fucking
thing.
moved us off the screen for TASOKARE. We were on that screenshot the whole time.
I think I actually
That-
did
that-
hear
with
the
that.
100 line thing.
Yeah, I'm interested in
haven't
it because
grabbed it
it's a strategy game, so I'm interested in it. I wanna see how Kodaka cooks, as he always does. But again, I won't have time for that because my life will. Actually, I will have exactly 2 days that I can get away, perhaps.
You know,
That-
this is what I expect from like a demo or small version of a game. We only got 3.5 gigs, not 26 for a fucking fucking benchmark.
Look,
Yeah.
Monster Hunter really needs your entire computer for every part
Oh,
of
fuck you, apparently. I gotta move
Look, man,
Helldivers
if
to
you
a different drive to do this.
look, man, if you download the benchmark for Monster Hunter Wilds, you get an exclusive Palico skin where it shows your GPU. It's just your boy, just as a GPU.
Yeah, we the funny shit where I can't move Marvel Rivals to my non-solid state drive because if that game isn't on solid state, you don't load in until halfway through the first map. It's
Yeah,
actually ridiculous.
Look,
it's
just
bad.
you're
I
just
haven't
gonna-
been able to move
you're
it
just
yet.
gonna get the benchmark to find out if you can run it, find out you can't run it, then uninstall it. It's fine.
Yeah, then be sad. That's 26 gigs I have to download to realize I can't run the game.
You actually might. You might be able to. Now, whether it runs good,
I'm
that's the
like at
question.
the exact minimum requirement, or like
Well,
either
it will-
exact recommended or exact minimum. Like
The
I'm
good-
barely able.
So
to
here's the
play it.
thing. The good thing about this is that it will tell you
Oh, the specs is it.
It'll tell you exactly what to run the game at, though. Is the good thing about the benchmark. Like I'm pretty sure it will tell you what settings to turn off, what settings to like. It'll tell you what you can run it at precisely on your computer. Again, my answer is I'm just gonna buy it on my PlayStation, and then
I'm gonna run the
maybe
game and see how it go.
and then maybe buy it again. Well, I also ran the beta on my. I played a bit of the beta. That was the other trade-off. Was that I played the beta. I only played it once because I was like, this is fine. I'll experience the rest of the game. The real trade-off is Monster Hunter has hot characters in it. You should go play it. And that's the pitch. Ladies and gentlemen, have a great night.
Damn, he got me.
The handler and